Base 1, this is Gold Leader. We're coming in hot. I promised the crew that we would not be late for Echo Base Network Live. Rear thrusters are engaged.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are Echo Base Network. Welcome to the show. And this is our very first midday live stream. This is going to be a rarity until the summertime gets here. Once summer is here, we will do this kind of thing much more often. But welcome, moderators, welcome, members, welcome to all of our subscribers and our guests. We are so glad that you are here. I am Coach. We will be bringing in my partner here at Echo Base Network in just a moment. I want to hail the chat real quick. We got over 250 people in the stream here in this midday. So we are so glad, guys, to spend this time with you. If everybody would please hit that like button and let's get this out. Let's blow this thing up and get 500 people in here. Hail to Chuck, Efrain Arroyo, Phoenix Rider, Tyron Lancaster, Glenn Schroeder, Ocon Trayer, Low Spec Linux Laptop, Benjamin Brown, Bunyan Snipe, John 42, Nate Schwertenberger, Girthy Guitarist, Samuel Alexander 14786, Rando Commando, Alex Cave, Marcy C, Canadian Spider-Man, Elsa Christina, The Wonderful Purple Valkyrie, Humor and Waffles, Matt G, Tina Lynn, Rob Pearson, Mary's Game Room, John, The Rosage, Cold-Blooded Critic, Rogue Soul, Ahsoka Skywalker, Dark Winter, Old Star Wars Nerd, Brian A, Ocean Rage, Simplify Danny, welcome to the channel, Skywall, Roberto Rowe, the Rosage again, Vashister, Teresa Pearson, Evan Griffin, Nick Craig, Gustavo T, Tornox, Justin Norris, Ethan Frowen, Andrew Johnson, Roll Titan, ETEP Wokians, The Place to Be Reviews, Mexican Iron Man, Nicole the Blind Mage, JP RPH1, our brother JP, JL Pardita 23, The Clown World Review, Spock, Ray J's World, Dan the Man, Dark Hamster, Lynn H, The Green Man, CLB 878, Alex James, Mark the Infinitely Tired, Stephen Sheen, Liam Neeson's Chin, great name. Gil Akbar, Nighthawk Dine, Joe Frisco, Jess Korn, Oilers Workshop, Fast Food Fitness, Super Graphic Artist Dave Bob, and Pete N. Wow, what an amazing list. So here's what we're doing, guys. This is really exciting that we got this midday stream going on. We got so many things that we're going to do. Hail Phil McCracken and Justin Norris, the people that I missed. If I missed you, I'm so sorry. But we got a great show lined up for you guys. This is going to be awesome. We're going to talk a little bit of Mandalorian Season 3. Oh, we have quite the speculation. We're going to go back through some of the Jon Favreau interview and talk about the retcon. Could it actually be happening already? Like, wow. There's a whole lot of evidence to support such a case, and we want to discuss that with you. We're definitely open to that possibility. And something else that we're going to do is we're going to look at the fate of some of the main characters in a post-Return of the Jedi world, and we're going to discuss with you guys, is it possible that they could be making a return in the Mandalorian timeline? I also see Stephanie Janisek, Smuggler's Cantina. Hail, Stephanie. Good to see you. So everybody has their opinion. It's just something that we want to discuss with you, and we don't know. So it's going to be interesting. Also want to say, very proudly, Matt G sends in a $1.49 super sticker. Thank you so much, Matt G, for supporting us here at Echo Base Network. We appreciate you, brother. And Skywall Roberto Rose sends in a $1.99 super sticker. So thank you for that. And we also have the one and only Mexican Iron Man sends in a $4.99 super chat. This is all during the pre-show. He says, okay, that was bad to the bone. He said, I'll catch this later after work, etc. tonight. I got to run, but have a great stream. What a great group of peeps here. And man, I totally agree with that. Nobody has a better community than Echo Base Network. It is truly, truly amazing. So guys, for you three, Matt G, Skywall, Roberto Rowe, and Mexican Iron Man, we appreciate you so much. Thank you for the super chat. You are Echo Base Network, and this super chat video is for you. We also have, real quick, a member. Let's see, where is it? Let me pull this thing up. I'm usually much better prepared, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, the Clown World Review sends in a $2 super chat. Hail the mighty day stream. Thank you so much, Clown World Review, for that. And Sam Alexander 14786 has become a member. Thank you so much, Sam. That means so much to us here at the network. We greatly appreciate that. If all of our members will give Sam a special welcome, Sam Alexander 14786, thank you so much for joining and welcome to the member family. We are UR Echo Base Network, and this one is for you, Sam. I'm going to bring in my partner in crime here, the ladies' man. Nobody knows Star Wars like him. He's got opinions out the butt. It is crazy. His name is Nicholas Glenn.
Hell, guys, how's it going? I wanted to give a shout out to YetiCast too, who's in the chat. He's in here. I saw him in the chat while I was letting the dogs out. But yeah, he had a great interview with Anna, that Star Wars girl. That was a cool interview. I watched it.
All right.
So hail YetiCast.
Hail to the YetiCast. Nick, we got a super chat to hit right here. I'll let you go ahead and hit it.
Steven Steele for $4 sends a super sticker. Hail, Steven Steele.
Steven, thank you so much, man. Thank you for keeping the fires burning here at Echo Base Network. Also to Valiant Renegade, thank you so much. Greetings to you, Valiant Renegade. Thank you for keeping the fires burning here. And as I already mentioned, the Clown World Review. This is our last super chat. We're caught up and we're rolling with Star Wars. So thank you so much, guys. This video is for you. All right, Nick, let's jump into this. Let's talk Mandalorian Season 3.
Real quick, before we get into that, I just want to say one quick thing, or two quick things. One, we're only like 2 members away from Loki, our brother Loki over at Mornings of Mischief, getting his very own emoji over here at Echo Base Network. So thanks to everybody that has signed up to become a member, and we're 2 away from getting Loki his own emoji here. And another thing, we got brand new shirts out, and one of the ones that we are really wanting to push, especially before Star Wars Celebration this year, which we would love to see at Star Wars Celebration, tons of people wearing them, is the Force is Favreau or the Force is Favloni. We have several different sayings on it, so if the mods could put the link in there, that would be awesome. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that real quick.
Yep. Well, let's jump into this. Thank you for doing that. So, Nick, what we're talking about is Mandalorian Season 3. We know The Mandalorian, basically, Season 1 was a deep dive into what it's like being a bounty hunter. We got into the guild. We learned a lot about the Bounty Hunter Guild, the Mandalorians. And then in Season 2, we learned a lot more about the Imperials, the Imperial remnants, and the other faction of Mandalorians and things like that. So let's just discuss for a moment, what are the possibilities? What are they going to concentrate on? What are they going to focus on for Season 3?
For The Mandalorian, my guess is that they are going to focus on the whole storyline with Bo-Katan, Din Djarin, the Darksaber, the ruling over Mandalore. I think that is going to be the story arc of Season 3 and 4. I think that's going to cover. So we had season 1 and 2 that covered Din Djarin, introduced us to a lot of characters in the whole Grogu story arc, which pretty much came to an end as far as we know at the end of season 2. And so the next 2 seasons, which they're working on simultaneously, I think is going to be that arc, because we didn't get any resolution there, and that was still kind of left open to speculation. So I think that's where they're going to go. I think that's what they're going to dive into over the next 2 seasons. I think we'll get a lot of people from the Clone Wars, Rebels, that will end up making appearances, all that good stuff. Sabine, I think she's going to end up being there. Which there's rumors that they're already looking at casting, or might even have somebody lined up already. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, we got over 300 people in the chat. I would like to know what you guys think is going to be the main focus of Chapter 3. And I'm going to tell you what I think. And I could be way, way off here. But something that we've gotten very little of is the New Republic in all of The Mandalorian. You know, Dave Filoni as an X-Wing pilot and the Japanese guy showed up. And we saw them more like a cameo type experience. And that's pretty much the extent of the New Republic that we got. So think about it. We got a whole lot of bounty hunters. We got a whole lot of Mandalorians. We got a whole lot of the remnants of the Imperials. Some people think they're the beginnings of the First Order. We'll see. And we're going to kind of get into that in the stream today too. But I, for one, think, I just hypothesize that we are going to get a lot more New Republic in the next story arc for Mandalorian. What do you think about that, Nick?
I don't think we'll get hardly any of that. I think we're going to get all that in the Rangers of the New Republic show.
Yeah.
I think that show's going to cover all that. I think that's where Cara Dune's going to be. I think that's where those 2 X-Wing pilots and probably a ton of other different people. What's his face's character, Apollo Creed. Got a brain fart.
Greeg Karga.
Yeah, what's the actor's name though?
Carl Weathers?
Yeah, Carl Weathers. Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll get them in that Rangers of the New Republic. I think that's where we'll get that story side of things will be devoted to that show, and I don't think we'll see a whole lot of that in Mandalorian seasons 3 or 4. It might tie in a little bit. I think they are kind of doing the whole Marvel Cinematic Shared Universe, so I'm sure there's going to be story arcs and storylines from the different shows that are going to cross into one another. I can totally see that happening. But for the most part, I think Mandalorian season 3 and 4 will mainly focus on Din Djarin, the Darksaber, Mandalore, all that.
Okay, all right, I got you. That's a good thought and definitely possible. So it's kind of advantageous for them, you know, because if in fact they do go Mandalorian or Mandalore, Bo-Katan, Darksaber, all that, if that's going to be the main story arc that we're going to get from Mando season 3, and the Ahsoka series is going to be where we see the Force in Star Wars, we're going to see lightsaber fights and things like that's where we're going to get our fix for those things.
Ezra, Thrawn, all them, all that.
So what might Boba Fett be about?
I think it's going to be completely separate from all the other shows also. I think it's going to be kind of him taking over, you know, basically being the gangster on Tatooine, basically taking Jabba's position. I think we'll probably get a lot of other bounty hunters in there. I'm not really sure who the main antagonist would be in that. I mean, I'm kind of clueless on a lot of where they could be going and what they could be doing with that show.
Right.
But I'm definitely interested to see what they're going to do. But yeah, I think it's going to be more of like a gangster, mobster type show.
Well, let's see what the chat is saying, and we're talking about where do you think season 3 of Mandalorian is going to go. They're saying Mandalore here. Low spec Linux laptop says Mandalore calls the dark saber. Au contraire says the ascent to Mandalorian or Mandalore the throne. Stephanie says the fight for Mandalore and the New Republic. So it looks like it's pretty heavy that it's going to be this story arc here. And I think that's a fine arc. What do you think? Does this excite you, Nick? If this is where we're headed in Mandalorian, do you think that this season could be as good as season 2?
Man, I don't see how you top those last 4 episodes of season 2. But the thing is, the 4th episode before the last episode, which I think was the Ahsoka episode, or no, it was the one right before that where they went to the to that Imperial base and ended up blowing it up. After that one, I was like, man, that's pretty good, and I figured that the Ahsoka one would be better, which it was. But after the Ahsoka one, I was like, I don't really see how much better it could get after that. And then the episode after that was the Boba Fett episode, which was awesome, and then that last episode, which was just phenomenal.
Right.
Or at least that last 15 minutes for sure.
Yep. So Gil Akbar here says the Book of Boba Fett will be about a criminal underworld sort of deal. Yeah, that kind of reminds me of the Star Wars 1313, that Lucas was, in fact, making a live show.
Yep.
And then the sale happened.
Yeah, and we could actually see Boba Fett and some of the other people that he's, associating himself with, going to Coruscant. I mean, I don't think this is all going to take place on Tatooine, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
A lot of people are calling for a Han Solo cameo in a Boba Fett spinoff series.
Yes, I could definitely see that being a possibility for sure, especially since Han Solo's the one that, knocked his jetpack and then sent him flying into the side of the cell barge and down into the Sarlacc pit. So I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't have a score to settle with Han Solo. And I think that last episode, they made sure that Boba Fett and Luke were not in the same area together for a very specific reason.
Yeah, I got you. Tiki of Doom says, all that Carl Weathers talk a few minutes ago caused me to go watch the Action Jackson trailer 3 times. That was a great movie, man.
I liked Action Jackson.
That was a great movie. Oh, I love Action Jackson.
Yeah, what was the other good? There was another black actor who was in a ton of action movies. He was in American Ninja, Delta Force. He's dead now, but you know who I'm talking about?
I can't remember.
That's going to drive me nuts.
I don't know. Where are you going with that?
It just reminded, when I saw Action Jackson, it made me think of him. Just another good 80s action star that's sort of similar. Steve James.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Dave Bob says Apollo Creed.
Yeah.
Vulcan Alpha says logic clearly dictates that for every action there's a Jackson.
Yeah. Samuel L. Jackson.
So do this for us, chat. This is something that we're going to move into and talk about, which is also tied with The Mandalorian. There's been a lot of characters from the prequels, not from the prequels, but from the Clone Wars, from Rebels, either make an appearance in Mandalorian or their name being dropped, like Grand Admiral Thrawn. And then you got the original trilogy. Let's just go through it real quick. What all characters from the original trilogy made an appearance in Mandalorian so far? I probably couldn't think of them all right off the top of my head.
Main characters or just
anybody? Anybody.
Jawas, R5D4,
well,
8D8, Luke.
Okay, yeah. Tusken Raiders. But what about like specific characters? Like, you can't say 8D8 because you don't know if that's in fact the same exact droid. R5D4, Sam got that.
Yep. Luke, of course.
R2.
R2.
That was an EV-99 droid. That was an IG unit, but I don't know. But, it definitely wasn't IG-88. It was IG-11.
Yeah.
We do know that was R5D4 on Tatooine.
Yeah, because she did say R5.
Bib Fortuna is in it and killed, which is awesome. And I can't really think of any other specific characters.
Boba Fett.
But I mean, yeah, my bad. How could I forget that? Possibly Clay 2, as a bartender.
Or Weequay.
Yeah. I'm sorry,
but he got killed on during that whole fight scene with Luke and over the Sarlacc pit. So that was just another one of his type race, and they just named him the same name that Kenner had, or Lucas, or whoever named that action figure back from the 80s, because that was the figure's name was Weequay.
Right. So something that we want to look at, guys, is, and before I share my screen, and we're going to go through this article real quick, I want you guys to do a prediction for us, chat. What characters do you think we will see in the next season of either Mandalorian, the first season of Ahsoka, the first season of the Book of Boba Fett, or the first season of Rangers of the Republic? I just want the names out there. Let's look at those. What characters from the Star Wars galaxy do you think will make an appearance?
And that's
the mouse droid needs his own series. Boskin IG-88.
Yeah.
That could definitely be in the Boba Fett. Dengar.
Yes, sure. Dengar, I think, will be in Boba Fett.
Mara Jade.
She could be in the Ahsoka show and then be in a possible Luke show if they're going to do that.
Thrawn.
Which I hope they do.
Lando. Nick, you could shoot on any of these. What do you think about a Lando?
Well, Lando's getting his own show too. We just don't know. We just don't know if it's going to be the early Lando before he kind of took over Cloud City, or if it's going to be Lando from the sequel trilogy, the older Lando. We really don't got any details on that. If I had to guess, I'm probably guessing that it's probably going to be Lando from the Han Solo movie.
You guys are so funny, man. Like, Rob says the Rancor Keeper with the new pet. They could cast me. I could be the Rancor Keeper.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him in some other new pet down there in the dungeon, but Boba Fett might use that, the way Jabba did, and send people down there that are standing in the wrong spot at the wrong time.
Yes. All right, so let's go through some of these. The Book of Boba Fett should have Dash Rendar, Jodo Kast, and Prince Shizor.
I would be all for that. And that's the other thing. How many of these older EU characters like Dash Rendar, Kyle Katarn, are they going to bring into any of these series? Because fans would love to see those characters get brought in some way, shape, or form. I know I would. And I'm guessing most everybody in the chat would probably love to see that also.
Absolutely. Guys, we got to do this real quick as you guys are continuing to pour in all the names. We're going to go through all these and look at them. But really important for us here, Nick, you did a call of members. And, oh my goodness, we got Tyron Lancaster has joined.
Oh, hell, Tyron.
Our member family. So if all the members would please welcome Tyron Lancaster. Stephen Steele has also joined.
Hell, Stephen. Thanks for that, brother.
Andrew Johnson has joined our member family.
Hell, Andrew.
And Reese Flynn has joined as a Jedi Knight to our member family. So Reese, Andrew, Stephen, and Tyron, thank you guys so much for joining our member family. You are Echo Base Network, and this video is for you. Welcome. Guys, thank y'all so much for that. And we also got 3 super chats real quick, and we're going to go through this list of who we think might just be coming back to Star Wars, and we hope they're good names. Do you think, let's see, our brother JP says, for the fires, hail all in Echo Base Network. Thank you so much for keeping those fires burning, JP. $9.99 super chat. We greatly appreciate that, bro. Sam Alexander sends a £5 super chat. He says, Nick, do you think we'll get some insight on the Great Purge mentioned in Season 1 and Season 2, perhaps Rebel-style arc returning to Mandalore?
I think we could definitely see a flashback of that. Because we haven't really seen that. It's been talked about, but we haven't really seen it. So I could definitely see them doing some bit of time jumping on telling the story. And then come the end, it kind of all ties together and makes sense. I could totally see them doing something like that for sure.
You think on the front end that there's no way Season 3 could be as good as Season 2. If they really delve into the lore and tell us about the Great Purge and all of that, man, that could be a really great season, dude.
Oh, absolutely.
That could be something definitely worth watching and looking forward to. So thank you, Sam, for that £5 super chat. Oilers Workshop sends a $4.99 super chat. He says, the genius Favreau will take the reluctant hero Din and force him into a hero's journey. He will get a proper arc, Luke's story with Han's personality.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Because,
like it too.
One thing that they haven't shown us, opinion here will vary, but we haven't gotten a whole lot about Din's story. And one could argue there's not been a whole lot of development for that character.
No.
And can he carry the show without Grogu? I hope so. I think so.
Yeah. The thing is, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, I'm sure they probably had no idea what a big, huge draw Grogu would have been. I mean, they might have had a little bit, but probably not as big as it actually is. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm not sure on their writing when they were writing this because Luke wasn't originally going to be in it at the end. So a lot of things changed along the way. So I'm wondering if that part of the story was always meant to be him leaving Din Djarin at the end of Season 2.
Right.
I'm not sure. We'll have to get Favreau on the show and ask him that.
What do you think are the possibility that we're going to see Luke and Grogu in Mandalorian Season 3? Do you think that'll happen?
No.
I don't either.
Nope.
And I know a lot of people that'll be disappointing. Do you think we'll see them in any of the other series?
If we were going to see him in any of them, it would be the Ahsoka show, I think.
I agree. And I think it's 100% going to happen.
Yeah, I think there's a high probability of it happening in that show for sure.
Not only are we going to see Ahsoka in her own series, and not only are we going to see Luke and Grogu again, we're going to see Ahsoka and Luke together. Which raises the question. Go ahead.
And I was just going to add, and if we got Anakin's Force Ghost,
there it is,
in with those two, oh man, people will go nuts. Just like over the Luke thing, the internet will break that day.
The world will stop spinning. Yeah. It will, man. It really will. And I don't see how we could have Ahsoka and Luke on screen together and not get an Anakin appearance, especially with the fact that Hayden Christensen will be Darth Vader in the Obi-Wan series.
Yeah, I don't either.
I mean, he's already hired by Lucasfilm. He's already recording and doing scenes. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm going to continue to go through this. Let's see. Reese Flynn has also become a member. I already said that. Daryl Bell has joined as a member, a Jedi Knight member at that. Daryl, if everybody would please welcome Daryl to the member family. My goodness, Nick, we've gotten 6 members in this live stream alone.
Well,
guys,
that's
thank
awesome,
y'all.
guys.
Yeah, we're blown away by that. Thank you for joining.
And Stone Loki now officially has his own emoji.
Let's go.
So our brother
go.
Stone Loki now has his own emoji here at EBN. Mexican Iron Man has his own one.
Oh, great.
And we'll be adding more and more.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Daryl, thank you for joining the family. This video's for you. We also have a super chat from Rhino, $5 super chat from Rhino4563. He says, Kevin McKidd should show up as Finn Rao. He voiced him in Rebels, and he's a good actor. And I agree. And the more of those voice actors we get, Rhino, to actually portray the on-screen characters, if they could, in fact, pull it off, then I think that's a great thing. I'm absolutely with you on that. Thank you very much for that $5 super chat. Dan the Man,
Hail Dan the Man.
Yeah, Hail Dan the Man. He sends a $5 super chat. He says, Mara Jade, Galen Merrick, Barris Ophi, Jabba's son, Jason, Gunji and friends, Quinlan Voss, and other Jedi survivors, Maul's son, and Darth Talon. Those are all people that he's calling for seeing. And if we get any of those, Darth Talon, wow. If we get any of those, that's just going to be awesome. That's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
So Dan the Man, that's a great list.
Yeah, with Favreau and Filoni and apparently Kevin Feige behind the scenes with all this, they're really trying to build this universe up. And we all know it's Disney. We know Favreau is SJW Light, all that stuff. We get that. But it's looking and at least going in the right direction, it seems to me right now. So until I see something that they really just screw up, I'm on board.
Yeah, absolutely. I see people in the chat mentioning Darth Bane in live action. Absolutely, Tina.
There's rumors he's
going
to be there. He's going to be making an appearance.
Well, and with all these shows and everything, and this, I think this is only the beginning. All the shows, the 11 things that they've got going on that they announced at Investor Days, next year's going to be even bigger. We're going to have 15 shows going on. Don't forget that a Luke Skywalker series is reportedly in pre-production right now. They're in the writing process, seeing if it's going to happen or not.
Yeah. Mark Definitely Tired said, work Starkiller into the Obi-Wan series. I'd love to see Starkiller in one of these shows.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
He was freaking awesome in those games.
Yep.
I love that character.
Ray J's World sends in a $5 super chat. He says, I really hope Ezra and Sabine are together again and hooking up. Sorry, I'm an Ezra Sabine shipper.
Hey, that's okay.
It's totally okay.
I like both those characters, and I think we're definitely going to see them in one of these shows. Well, I don't see how we couldn't.
I don't see how we couldn't. And I'll tell you what, I'm sure somebody said it in the chat. I'm about to scroll back up, and we're going to look through all the names that people are calling for. But, you know, the older I get, the more and more I become a Captain Rex fan. Yeah. Maybe it's because I'm getting older. But
I saw a lot of shout-outs for Max Rebo Band in there.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I want to see Captain Rex. That would just be awesome.
Yeah, well, with Tamora Morrison being back involved, I also don't see how that's not going to happen. I think we're for sure going to get Rex, and I think he's going to be in that Ahsoka show. I think they're going to be back together at some point in time. It's just that there's so many good possibilities moving forward from here. I mean, the sky's the limit.
So you know, Nick, that when Tamura Morrison first showed up on set to do a screen test, when they were trying to feel their way through the whole process of Boba Fett and all, they also had Captain Rex armor that Tamura Morrison tried on, and they screen tested him as Rex as well. And it was also reported that he was initially being screen tested for Rex. And then they went ahead and decided, we're going to make you Boba Fett. So I think it's a foregone conclusion. We're going to get Rex, and it will be played by Morrison.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's got a lot of work coming his way.
Yeah, which is good. That's good for Star Wars. There's no doubt about it. That's good for all of us. Sauce Noodles, says Alex James. This is going to be cool if he plays Rex too, Phoenix Rider.
Yep.
Yeah, Cortana, that's an interesting thought. She says, I'm guessing she says that the problem is that Rex shouldn't be alive at this point, but Mandalorian is 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So he still would be alive. He's just very old, right?
Yeah.
I know that he's got the speeding up the life, his aging supposed to be faster.
Mm-hmm.
But he was in Return of the Jedi, unless that was retconned. The old man that Lucasfilm announced was him. So I don't know. That'll be interesting. We've got a $5 super chat from Daryl Bell. He said, I would love to see Wedge Antilles in Rangers of the New Republic. Let's go.
Man, they've got to have him in there in some way, shape, or form. I would love to see that. And I hope they stick to a lot of the practical effects. Like, I mean, watching the pre-show on here and watching the space battles, I mean, they were just so well done without being CG. My friend Casey, who's watching, going through all the Star Wars movies, she actually, when she was watching the originals, she was like, these just look so much better than, because she started with the prequels and just went in the order, the timeline order.
Mm-hmm.
And she was just like, these just look so much better. Like, they look more realistic. And I was like, yeah, that's the practical effects with the models and stuff. So
Yep, absolutely.
Hail Geekdom 101.
Back to what we were just saying, Ray J's World says, no, it was not retconned. Rex was there on Endor. So that's, Rex. We're going to get Rex. I don't think there's any doubt about that. You just mentioned Geekdom 101. Geekdom 101! Yeah. Kamehameha, my friend. Yo, brothers, I am the Prince of all Saiyans once again. Yo, brothers, I found your channel a couple weeks ago, and I just want to say I respect y'all because y'all are the real deal, and that means a lot. And Geekdom 101, we feel the same way about you, brother. We would love to talk some DBZ one day.
Yeah. I'm actually going through Dragon Ball Super right now. My brother Patrick, he's watched all of them, and I am on episode 15. Like, Goku just got done being Super Saiyan God. Which was super cool. But we are huge Dragon Ball Z fans, and we used to make fun of my little brother for watching that show and used to call him names and stuff for watching it. And then I actually watched like a couple episodes and was like, so what's this about? And I was like, oh my God, this show's freaking awesome. And then I told Coach, he started watching it, and it was game over.
It was like drugs, man.
Yeah, and that was right at the end of the Frieza saga.
Vegeta's my favorite animated character of all time.
Yeah.
No matter in any show.
Yeah.
But
Love
anyways,
Vegeta.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Daryl, thank you so much for the super chat. Ray J's World, Dan the Man, and Rhino4563. We appreciate you keeping those fires burning here at Echo Base Network. You are Echo Base Network, and this video is for you. And I'm also blown away, Nick, because we got 3 more new members. Dan the Man has joined. Nancy Shrewsbury has joined as a Jedi Knight. And Adam Bowman has joined as a Jedi Master. And boom, there's another one. Just as I say that, Valiant Renegade has also joined. So members, if you would please welcome Dan the Man, Nancy Shrewsbury, Adam Bowman, and Valiant Renegade. We greatly appreciate it. You are Echo Base Network, and we love you guys. All right, so Nick, we're going to go through this article.
Real quick before we start this, I just want to say to all the new members, if you're a Jedi Master level member and you are on Twitter, DM us on Twitter so that we can add you to the Jedi Master group message board that we got going there for all Jedi Master members. And also, if you're a Jedi Master member, if you go to our community tab, there's a posting there for you to pick what character you want to portray you in a pre-show video before all of our live streams. So go over there to that community page on our YouTube channel, find that post. It's just a little ways down, and put what character you want to represent you, and you will be in one of our videos. And if, like I said, if you're on Twitter, DM us and we'll add you to the Jedi Master group.
All right, well, here we go. Thank you for sharing that, Nick. So what happened to every major Star Wars character after the original trilogy? So we're going to go through this with you guys. And this is an article that came out just the other day over at Screen Rant. And all of this is canon. This is not them guessing what happened. This is from the lore. This is from the books. This is from the comics. This is things that have been confirmed. So we're going to look at these and see just exactly what has happened with these characters. And as we do that, let's have a discussion. What's the possibility that we're going to get the return of this character in any form in a Disney streaming show? As an appearance, definitely not as a main show, even though that could happen one day, but just as an appearance. Like you see the picture right there. We already got the gentleman on the left. Are we going to get Han Solo? Are we going to get a Princess Leia? Who knows? So let's go through this article. And I'm just going to kind of go one character at a time. I'm going to skip through. And we already know what happened to Luke. So there's really no point in going through that. So let's skip on down to Leia. Do you think we're going to get a Leia? Well, let's find out what happened to Princess Leia after Return of the Jedi. So we're talking Mandalorian era, which is the focus of Disney at the moment, or the focus of Lucasfilm. So it says, according
real quick, is this covering what happened to them in the EU, or is what they're saying here actually canon?
It is canon.
Disney?
It is canon.
Okay.
So according to Star Wars The Force Awakens, incredible cross-sections, Leia marries Han a day after the Battle of Endor. As seen in The Rise of Skywalker, she also enters into Jedi training with Luke, going so far as to create her own lightsaber. She soon abandons training after she has a premonition that her future son will die if she continues and helps establish the New Republic as Senator Organa instead. The Aftermath book series shows Leia and Han becoming parents to Ben a year to the day of the Battle of Endor. The rebels have cause to celebrate again as the Battle of Jakku and the subsequent treaty signals an official end to the Empire's hold. For the next few decades, Leia dedicates all of her time and energy to the success of the New Republic. The book Bloodline follows the end of Leia's political career years later, as she investigates the burgeoning criminal underworld, traverses the ever-changing climate of the populist and centrist parties of the Senate, and the fallout when a secret Imperial agent reveals her true parentage. Leia resigns as senator soon after and busies herself forming the resistance. A lot of people didn't know that she was the daughter of Darth Vader, and that came out, and she felt inclined or forced to resign from politics.
Guilt by association?
Yep, pretty much.
Or guilt by bloodline?
So the second half of the paragraph, the resistance builds as the First Order begins to take over. If you're not liking hearing this about the sequel trilogy, we understand. That's actually going to be the next conversation that we're going to have, because this could indeed be an alternate timeline. The resistance builds as the First Order begins to take over, and Leia is next seen in The Force Awakens as General Organa. Though Leia and Han happily lived apart during their marriage, they separated after Ben. I can't even read that part. I don't have the stomach to read that part.
It's so stupid.
So, Nick, what do you think are the odds? Chat, what do you think are the odds that we're going to get a Princess Leia or a General Leia show up somewhere in a Disney Plus streaming show?
I think we'll get Han in the Boba Fett series, Han and Chewie. probably is probably the best bet for them, and I think we'll get Leia in the Rangers of the New Republic show. I think those are the best bets. Now, they could also all three be in both of those shows, but those are the two shows that I think are the main focus. We could also get Leia in the Ahsoka series if she is with Luke at any point when he meets up with Ahsoka, maybe, or something along those lines. I could see that being a possibility. But yeah, I think those are probably the best bets on where they're going to make their appearances on what show.
Well, I like this. Skywall Roberto Rose says 80% chance we get a Princess Leia appearance. Everybody throw a number in there. Let's see what you think. What is the percentage chance that you think we're going to get a Princess Leia callback appearance? Anything. Could be something from the past. Pete N gives it a 50-50. Honestly, y'all, after the passing of Carrie Fisher, I don't want to see her on screen at all outside of animated like Rebels. I say let the character pass with the actress out of respect. That's a great thought, Geekdom 101.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that feel that way.
Yep.
And that's a sad thing, man, because if we could get an appearance of her, if she was still alive in any of these shows, wow.
Yeah.
So let's go to Andrew Johnson says 95. Super Graphic Artist says 77. Kamasatsu says 75. Flipper C says under 50. Nick Craig says 20% chance. Tornox says 50%. Steph says 90%. Chris D at 60. After the Rise of Skywalker, 20%. Yeah.
Yeah.
JP says 75. Michael says 500 to 1. John 42 says 99%. Phoenix Rider 100%. The Rosage says 80% in Rangers. Awesome. Yeah. Tina Lynn gives it a 100. Dee Dee Myers a 50. Dave Bob a 100. I wonder, I hate to ask this question, but I feel like I have to. Do you think that the return of Carrie Fisher or Princess Leia, the return of Princess Leia in Star Wars in the future, do you think that's more possible or more likely because Princess Leia is indeed a female?
I think so. And to kind of go back and shoot on what Geekdom 101 was saying, I'm in agreement with him somewhat on his statement on that. But if her daughter and her family really want her character to live on in this, and they want it, I would also be for them to actually do it because her family and her daughter and stuff wants it.
Right.
I think it should be left. I think the decision should be left to them on whether or not Princess Leia's character shows back up.
All right. Well, let's move on in the article. And I think that some of these characters definitely have a better chance than others. So Han Solo. Everybody knows what they did to Han Solo. And again, we're going to get into the Mandalorian talk, and not the Mandalorian, but the sequel trilogy talk. And guys, there's a whole lot of evidence put out there saying that the retcon is happening right beneath us and we're not even aware of it. The ball is already rolling. So we're going to get into those details and tell you what has been reported. A lot of you are already going to know this, but it's going to be a great discussion. So Han Solo here becomes a family man after the events of Return of the Jedi. He makes an appearance in Battlefront 2, gaining Imperial intel at Takodana Castle. In Aftermath Life Debt, Han and Chewbacca lead an attack on Imperial-held Kashyyyk and regain control of the planet. Chewbacca and Han part ways to be with their families, though they remain friends. Han is next seen leading the New Republic Pilots Commission and doubting his role as Ben's father in the novel Last Shot. Though his carefree and adventurous nature keeps him yearning for more, luckily Lando visits to take him on a secret mission. Though Han eventually longs to return home, he cannot stay there for long. Years passed, and it is revealed in Scorched, a tie-in novel to Bloodline, that Han races starships and owns a successful shipping company for a living. He no longer lives with Leia, Oh, I can't stand reading it, dude.
Yeah.
But he's consistently in touch with her. After Ben becomes Kylo Ren, Han is distraught and returns to smuggling with Chewbacca. Han, who lost the Millennium Falcon, I can't read it. I can't do it.
It's so stupid.
I can't do it.
The whole story on these characters. And I read a very good comment in one of our videos that said you cannot build on the future by destroying the past. And that's what they've done with these characters, is they've destroyed these characters.
Yeah.
I mean, you reading that stuff on what happened, all these books, it was so cringe. Like,
Yeah.
I'm glad you stopped reading it.
I can't. I just can't finish it. So let's get into the odds, and Nick, you kind of shoot on it and tell us what you think. Do you think we're going to see any type of Han Solo in any of these shows? And for whatever reason, I've got my answer.
Percentage-wise, I say there's a 70% chance we see him in the Boba Fett series. 70% chance. I give it about a 40% chance in Rangers of the New Republic.
Yeah. Oh.
And like a 10% chance in Ahsoka. Well, probably less than that. 2% in Ahsoka.
Elsa Christina says that the Emperor, that dude died in Return of the Jedi, period. Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree.
Hey, I'll be right back, Coach.
Okay, that's fine. And interestingly enough, Elsa, you were absolutely correct. If, in fact, these alternate realities are happening, because the one that the majority of us are going to recognize is the alternate reality. And we're about to get into that. I can't wait to get into that with you guys. Let's see. Justice for Han, Tim Myers. Han maybe, but not Ford, which will be sad, Dave Bob. But yeah, I'm with you, man. You were probably right about that. I hope we see Baby Yoda. I miss that kid. Ray J's World says 80% chance that we're going to get a Han Solo in the future. And we're not talking about a Solo Part 2. We're talking about in the streaming platform, in the shows during the Mandalorian era. It would be nice if we did. 50% in any show, Skywall, Roberto Rowe. So 70%, let's just say 69, that guy says, dirty. You dirty man. Let's see. 100% Han, not fire, agree. So I'm guessing you're saying, Andrew, that 100% that he will be back. So I don't know. That's an interesting thing for sure. Let's move on in the article and see what happens next, because some of these characters, I think that you guys are going to like the idea and the percentages will be much higher. So let's go down. I'm skipping Emperor Palpatine. I don't think there's any chance we're going to see Emperor Palpatine. I say very low. And if we do see Emperor Palpatine, what are the percentage chances that you're going to watch? That's what I want to know. Let's just imagine that we're speaking directly to Disney. Do you want to see Emperor Palpatine in Rangers of the Republic? Do you want to see him in The Mandalorian? Do you want to see Emperor Palpatine in Ahsoka? I don't. 0, 0, 0. Disney, please hear us. Jon Favreau, we know that you listen to the fans. You proclaim that you do. So we're telling you right now, the answer is no, and we're getting some big-time no's right here. So please take that as evidence. Nick, do you want to see Emperor Palpatine in Rangers of the Republic, Ahsoka, or The Mandalorian?
Nope. He's dead.
Nope, he's dead. He's been dead since 1983. All right. So anyways, let us continue on in the article. Chewbacca. Will we get a Chewbacca inside any of these shows? In the Aftermath series, Chewbacca and Han plot to liberate the Wookiee home planet of Kashyyyk. Chewie's plan is to release large web weaver spiders on Dominion, the Star Destroyers responsible for overseeing Kashyyyk. After the Wookiees retake control of their planet, Chewbacca parts way with Han and enjoys retirement at home with his wife and son for several years. I think his son is Ichibaka. Chewbacca eventually rejoins Han to help out in Last Shot and later in their smuggling activities. He is with Han when they board the Millennium Falcon in The Force Awakens, and we're going to stop right there because that's where it's going to get into Rey and all that kind of stuff. So, Nick, you got anything you want to say about a possible Chewbacca reemergence?
I think if we get Han, we'll get Chewie.
Yeah.
And I think it'll either be in the Boba Fett show or the Lando show.
Right.
And I give it 80% chance that we get both of them back, or even just Chewie. But
yeah.
If we get Chewie, I think we'll get Han.
I agree with you. What about R2? I'm not even going to read all this.
We already got him, but
we already got him. That's right.
If we see Luke
he's
anymore, we'll see R2.
Yep. I love the fact that R2 is still with Luke.
Yeah.
5 years after Return of the Jedi, they're still together.
Yep. And the fact that I'm not even going to get into the sequel trilogy.
Actually, you are in just a moment, but it's going to be what we want to happen, right?
Yeah.
C-3PO.
I think if we get Leia,
agreed.
We'll get 3PO.
Agreed. Lando?
He's getting his own show, so he's definitely going to be there.
Yeah, but yeah. I think the percentages of him being in like Rangers of the Republic might be a little lower. I don't know. Yeah. We'll see how that show does. How do you think the Lando show's going to do, Nick?
I mean, I'm definitely going to watch it for sure.
Absolutely. I want it to be great.
It just depends on what Lando we get.
I love Lando, but I did not like the Solo movie.
I didn't really care for it either.
And if we get a Lando that has a crush on a droid, I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah, that pansexual stuff, if they're going that route with his character, I'll move on to something else.
Well, you know that we're going to get Boba Fett. That's 100%.
Yeah.
Boba Fett will show up again in Mandalorian. He will show up in Ahsoka, I think.
Well, we don't know if we'll see him in Mandalorian because he's getting his own show. So he might not be in Mandalorian.
Yeah, but all these shows are tying in together.
Yeah. I think it's a good possibility we get him in Mandalorian.
Yeah. But here's where things get interesting for me. And this is why we did the thumbnail. And I wasn't trying to throw you guys off with the thumbnail. We're speculating, obviously.
Yeah.
Now, you got to think about this. And this is what me and Nick talked about yesterday. We've gotten so much of Dave Filoni characters from his time with Lucas. Yeah. He was with Lucas for 10 years. We're getting so many of his characters. There's rumor of Cad Bane being in the Boba Fett series. We got Ahsoka. We're going to get Rex. You got Bo-Katan. You got all this going on. So it's like a lot of that stuff happened so many years before where we are in the timeline.
Yeah.
The original trilogy just got finished. You got to see more original trilogy tie-ins. And it stands to reason for me, if they can pull it off, that these are the ones that you'll see. That we will see a Wedge. Whether it's a deep fake, a recast, whatever, I don't know. You will see a Wedge, and I think it would be even easier for them to do an Akbar.
Yeah.
Because
I think we'll definitely get Akbar, and I think if we get him, it'll be in the Rangers show, more than likely. I think that's probably where we'll see him at. But yeah, they got to give some more justice to Akbar, because they did not do him justice at all in that sequel trilogy.
Well, and Nick, it kind of goes back to what we just talked about. They have got to, at some point, show us more about the New Republic. We got to find out more. It can't be two X-Wing pilots show up and save Mando on some ice planet from a bunch of spiders, and that's all the New Republic we get.
Yeah.
It has to be more than that. So whenever we get that New Republic, that's when we might see a Leia. That's certainly when we're going to see an Akbar, because that could be done easily from them, anyways, is what I think. Yeah. So before we move on to the next part of what we're going to discuss, and I think you guys are going to enjoy this, we're talking about, is the retcon already happening? And none of us have caught on to it yet. Like, wow, definitely some interesting evidence to support it. We got some new members. Again, Nick, we've gained 13 new members during this stream, and we've only been streaming for an hour. Like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So we got Zach. Welcome, Zach, who is now in our member family. If everybody would welcome Zach. Steven Steele has upgraded his membership to Jedi
nice.
Knight. Thank you, Steven. Welcome. Silent Zero is also joined our member family. Butterbean has joined our member family. So Butterbean, Silent Zero, Steven Steele, and Zach, we greatly appreciate it, man. Welcome to the Echo Base Network member family. We are You Are Echo Base Network, and this video is for you, our friends. And I see some people saying in the chat, Nick, like Softcore 307 says it's his first time here and good afternoon. So for the people who were here for the very first time,
good to have you, Softcore.
Welcome to the show, guys. We are You Are Echo Base Network. We are a channel dedicated to keeping the Star Wars that we love alive and celebrating that Star Wars with you. We do this thing together. So thank you guys for being here.
And we typically have our live streams on Saturday nights at 7 o'clock Central. This is just a spur of the moment, random live stream, which we never do. Our shows are normally every Saturday night at 7. We normally live stream once a week, but
that's true.
Here we are.
Well, here we are. We're going to do this in the summertime, at least once a week.
Yeah.
But
once Coach is off.
Yeah, once I'm out for the summer, we'll do this. Yeah. We also got a couple of super chats to go through, Nick. Rogue Soul, one of our members, says, I love Dragon Ball Z so much, I got a 4-star Dragon Ball tattoo.
Oh, sweet.
That is awesome. Rogue Soul, you got to send us a picture over Twitter. Let us see that tattoo, unless it's somewhere we don't want to see it. But,
or Facebook or Instagram if you're not on Twitter.
Yeah, we'd love to see that. So thank you, Rogue Soul, for the $5 super chat. We also got another $5 super chat from Rogue Soul again. So basically, Disney canonized Leia getting cancel cultured because of her heritage. Oof. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Yeah. Mm-hmm. They shamed her after everything that she had done. I think that's poor writing.
That is very poor writing, and that's the mentality of modern day identity type politics right there, put into these Star Wars stories. You know, that sort of stuff doesn't belong in the Star Wars universe. They need to leave that stuff out. People go there to kind of escape the real world political atmosphere, you know. And yes, there's politics in Star Wars. Everybody knows that, but it's not modern day jam down your throat social justice warrior type identity politics.
Absolutely. And we got another super chat here from Mexican Iron Man, our executive producer here at EBN. He says, this $10 bill is to thank you two for the rare gem of hearing your Alabama accents combined with your brilliant analysis slammed into a talk about pansexual characters, hit brakes, left turn. Mexican Iron Man, you are a mess, but we love you, my friend. So anyways, Mexican Iron Man, Rogue Soul, and Rogue Soul twice. Thank you guys so much for that awesome super chat. We are, you are Echo Base Network, and this video is for you, my friends. All right, Nick, are you ready? Oh, we also want to tell everybody this is not an unusual live stream. We are proceeding just like we always do.
Yep.
The first half of our show, we're doing all these things. We're going through the news. We have featured guests, not on this show, not this one, but typically we do that. But the second half of our show, we're going to have our epic pop-in sessions. So anything that we've discussed today, Nick's going to throw that link out there and let you guys pop into the show. We are going to have a little bit more guidelines because we don't want to be here for 5 hours.
Yeah, because I got to work. I got to be off the stream in 50 minutes.
Well, I can keep going. Going, but I've got a little bit more time than that. But Coach does have a wife and children coming home from school, even though I stayed home with one of them today. That's why we're streaming today, because I'm home with my baby who's not feeling good. But so anyways, Nick, here we go with this news here. There's been some videos that have come out lately, and I don't want to mention. If you guys want to know in the chat where you could find some of these videos, we'll show you. Everybody knows that if we mention certain names, you're going to know where a lot of this stuff comes from. But there's some great thoughts that have been occurring lately about, is the retcon happening right beneath our feet, right in front of our eyes? And the process has already started, and we haven't caught on, and now we're starting to. I think that is an interesting thought. I know that there's a lot of people that aren't going to think that this is possible, not going to be happening. Mr. Wren right here, nothing is going to be retconned. You certainly could be correct, sir. You definitely could be correct.
And I don't think anything's going to be retconned either. I think the position we're pointing towards is that it's just going to be a different timeline of existence for the characters that we have right now in these shows with Favreau and Filoni.
Yes. So you're exactly right. Nick and I did a video last week, guys, where that's the position that we took. We think that there's going to be two alternate realities. One that leads to the sequel trilogy and one that does not. And I think that is definitely more possible. There's not going to be a all-out 100% retcon. It's going to be a pseudo-retcon.
Yeah, the sequels will always be there. They're not going anywhere.
Yep.
We don't think they're going anywhere.
Yep. And they're going to die a very slow death, too, because people aren't going to be watching them.
Yeah. You know what? I thought about this the other day. I would be curious to see, and I'm sure Disney has these numbers on the back end, but I would love to see the view counts of all the Star Wars movies on Disney Plus right now, as of today. And I guarantee you those sequel trilogy movies are at the bottom of the list on view count. I would bet my whole year's salary on it.
So there is a lot of thoughts like Mr. Wren right here. This is a good thought, Wren. Remember, Grogu used force healing. But to counterpoint that, we've seen force healing before, especially in the EU, and we know that they're pulling from the EU, and in games such as all of the Jedi Knight series and Dark Force games.
Yep.
So, I'm not sure that that's evidence that can really support that it's going towards a sequel trilogy and there's not going to be an alternate timeline. But all that being said, I do want to get into some notes that I took, and I want to share these with you. And Nick, you could stop me at any time and comment on any of this that you want to. And we definitely want to hear from the chat. What do you guys think about all of these things? So here's the main theory, is that the main theory is tied that Snoke came from Grogu's blood. But in The Mandalorian, they never got Grogu's blood. It didn't happen. Luke showed up and rescued Grogu before they were ever able to get Grogu's blood. So if that's true...
Well, didn't Moff Gideon say that he got all the blood he needed from Grogu in that last episode?
No, I think that he said that he would.
I'm pretty sure that they got it, but they might not have actually been able to use it. Like I think they got his blood, and I think it's on that ship. They have it, but I don't think they actually got to a facility and all that.
Okay.
And actually got to use it.
Well, since you're throwing that counterpoint, I'll go ahead and reveal the source. You had me watch a video from Lorestar, and he laid out a massive argument that the sequel trilogy, the divide is already occurring, and according to him, Grogu's blood was never obtained. So that's something that maybe we need to go look into.
Yeah, that was the one thing in his video that I thought could be off.
All right. Well, let me continue then, and we'll just see. Because if he's off there,
he could be off everywhere.
He is.
Yeah.
His entire argument just got. You just destroyed the entire second half of our show here.
But no. But I'm not really, because the only point I'm making is that they actually got his blood. They just never got to use it because Luke came and rescued them, and they didn't get to use it. So he's still on point.
Right.
With that.
All right. Well, let's look. So his main theory is that Snoke came from Grogu's blood, but in The Mandalorian, they haven't gotten Grogu's blood yet. That's what he says. Okay. He says some think that Palpatine was in possession of Grogu during Rise of Skywalker for making the Snoke clones. And this was in another timeline where Ahsoka died. Let me say that again. Some think that Palpatine was in possession of Grogu during the Rise of Skywalker for making all of those Snoke clones. The Snoke clone came directly from Grogu. So, and this was in another timeline where Ahsoka died. If not for Ahsoka, Grogu would not have reached out with the Force, and Luke would not have rescued all of them. The sequel era is a timeline where Ahsoka died. In the sequel timeline, Luke didn't have any apprentices. And this is an interesting point.
Yeah.
Grogu's blood or not.
Yeah.
In the sequel timeline, Luke did not have any apprentices until he took Ben at 10 years old. That's canon.
Yeah.
That's in the comics. His first apprentice was Ben Solo when he turned 10 years old.
And this is only 5 years after Return of the Jedi, and they didn't have Ben till 1 year after Return of the Jedi.
That's right.
So he's only 4 years old at this point.
Yep. So in Mando, we see Luke take Grogu for training. Grogu will be his apprentice. So right there is a huge fork in the road. Yeah. And he goes on, without Grogu's blood, there is no Snoke. So there is no Ben turning to the dark side. That's one of his main premises. In the alternate timeline, the one that most of us are pulling for, they couldn't make a Snoke. And because they couldn't, even though that some people think that we saw a Snoke, they couldn't make a Snoke. So because of that, Ben never turns to the dark side because Snoke couldn't reach out to him and get in his ear. So anyways, and again, we're not telling you guys what we think. I'm basically just reporting on one of the main theories that's out there, and you guys tell me what you think. But I will tell you that I think you guys are right. Gideon says we got everything we needed. You're absolutely right. I remember that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess he could be lying. I wouldn't think so. And you got to think this too. I wondered, like, when I was saying what I was saying and reading it, and we were talking, and I was reading the comments, they had Grogu for a minute.
Yeah.
Now, where was the doctor? Maybe that's why Lorestar doesn't think they got his blood, because Dr. Pershing wasn't there, was he?
No, he was on his way to that ship.
Yeah. So I think that's why he believes Gideon's lying. They never got Grogu's blood because Dr. Pershing wasn't there to do it. He's the clone doctor. Yeah. You can't make a Snoke without Grogu's blood and Pershing? Ooh. See, Lore Star didn't go into detail there. Pershing's not there. All right. Well, anyways, so again, without Grogu's blood, there is no Snoke. There is no Ben turning to the dark side. The sequels is what would have happened if Ahsoka had died. What happened to Luke turns into a what if scenario.
Yeah.
The entire sequel trilogy, J.J. Abrams, Rian Johnson, turns into a what if trilogy. And the alternate universe timeline is Ahsoka's alive, Luke never turns into the hermit, Grogu's the first student, everything's different. Ben Solo does not turn to the dark side. Tim Myers, one of our people here, will be Kylo Ren, but not Kylo Ren, he'll be Ben Solo.
Yeah.
And to finish it off, when Rey became all of the Jedi, here's another premise that he uses. You guys already know where I'm going with this. When Rey at the end of The Rise of Skywalker became all of the Jedi, which was a cringe moment for me, you hear all of the dead Jedi, including Ahsoka. And then the fans after the movie were like, wait, what? And, Dave Filoni came out and said that doesn't mean she's dead. That's not a denial.
Yeah.
And he didn't know at the time, I don't think. But that's not a denial.
He came out wearing that shirt, Ahsoka Lives.
Right.
At Star Wars Celebration.
So I think that is like a, whoa, she is dead in that timeline. And I think they're getting this whole thing solidified right now. And I think Jon Favreau's listening, and so is Filoni. Luke's story in the sequels was already written. But when Luke took Grogu in Chapter 16, everything changed. Everything changes. And it's not going to be the same Luke that you get in The Force Awakens sitting on Ahch-To by himself. There are two alternate realities, one where Ahsoka lives and one where she dies. What do you guys say? Nick, I'll look through the comments and highlight them as you kind of give your opinion.
Yeah, we obviously heard Ahsoka's voice at the end of the sequel trilogy. Now, again, by the time The Rise of Skywalker happens, this is 30-odd some years later. She could have died, 5 years before The Force Awakens, for all we know. So I understand that point is being a possibility on people saying that all roads are going to lead to the sequel trilogy. But I think there's there's really three possibilities here. One, they go a different timeline, and we have a different future for Luke and all these characters, which I'm 100% on board for and want to see happen. Two, they don't go on a different timeline, but completely ignore the sequel trilogy and only write stories during this time frame and keep it within that time frame and kind of ignore the sequels and keep them over in the corner off to the side, And three, which I hope they 100% do not do, is they start doing tie-ins and build-ups to everything about the First Order, Snoke, the Emperor, all that, and completely tie in and explain the sequel trilogy. Now, I've heard a lot of people in the comment sections of our videos say, that they could do sort of like what they did with the Clone Wars, to where the Clone Wars made the prequels better. They could do that with all these live action shows and make the sequels better, but I don't see how you can make the sequels better no matter what you do, because they completely, those aren't the characters. Those characters in the sequel trilogy were completely out of character. Now, they could do some stuff to make us believe that that's the type characters they turned into, but I still wouldn't buy it. So I'm hoping that they don't do that. Again, it's all speculation at this point. We don't know what's going to happen. That could very well be the case. But I think Disney is listening to the fans, or more so, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau, I think a little bit more than Filoni. I think Favreau is really listening to the fans, and maybe even Kevin Feige to a certain degree, in whatever involvement he has. But I think if the fans are continue to stay vocal, continue to come on platforms such as our channel and other channels out there that are not wanting these characters to be destroyed any further, and to give us stuff like what we got in the last episode of Mandalorian Season 2, and we are constantly voicing our opinions on this stuff, I think they're going to hear us. They definitely have the ability to write those storylines and to go in that direction away from the sequel trilogy. At this point, all we can do is keep our fingers crossed and hope that they actually do it.
So here's something that I want to address with everybody about this, and I want to hear what you guys think. Nick and I have already been through this, so we just gave you a lot of the information that we got over from LoreStar, and a lot of people are building onto that. And we covered this the other night in our Saturday night live stream, where we talked about the Jon Favreau interview. And, a lot of people saw that interview completely differently than me and Nick did.
Yeah.
And Nick and I have already laid out the foundation for why it is that we believe what we believe. We came out with this list, Coach's 10 points of reason, 10 reasons why Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are doing the alternate timeline based on what the man said himself. And if you haven't seen that, you need to go back and watch that video. But I want to bring up the last thing that Jon Favreau said. I'm pulling that interview up right now. Nick, you could paraphrase it if you want to while I'm looking for it.
Basically, he said that if you are not listening to the audience that you're making your material for, and they're not happy with what you're doing, then you're not doing your job.
Yep.
To paraphrase it.
I got the article up right now. I just got to find.
And Doomcock actually did a video covering a lot of this stuff yesterday, and he actually made a lot of the same points that we did, and he has a supposed inside source that's kind of telling him that this is the case, that this is the direction that they're going.
Yeah, I'm looking for the quote. I really want to dig into that for a moment, and we're about to start our pop-ins, guys. So if you want to come onto the show and tell us what you think about anything that we've talked about, what characters you think are going to make a comeback, what do you think about this alternate timeline? They're pop-in roundups. So we'll be doing that in just a moment.
And while Coach is looking for that article, when I post a link in here, just because we're on short time, I literally got like 30 minutes left before I got to jump off here. We're going to try to keep everybody at 3 minutes when you come in here. Just make your points. Try to get to your point as quick as possible. Be direct on it. And once we move on to the next panel, unless Coach wants to bring people back in, we're only going to let you come in just one time, so that way we got room for other people that want to come in here and kind of share their opinion and let their voice be heard.
So the quote that he said was that he was talking about the fans' feedback, and he was talking about the hardcore fans. He was talking about us, the 313 of us that are in the chat right now. That's who he was talking to. He was talking about the fans that you meet at the water cooler to talk about it. And the man basically literally said in the interview, he said, if you're doing something as a creator that those fans aren't feeling, you're not doing your job. Well, what do the fans feel about the sequel trilogy? What do the fans feel about having an alternate timeline? an alternate reality. Well, we're all behind it.
Yeah.
The majority of us are behind it, and Disney knows that now. And I'm not getting into the whole, there's two camps at Lucasfilm, there's a war going on. There very well could be. I don't know.
Yeah.
But but looking at the man's words himself, he said, if the fans aren't liking what you're doing, you're not doing your job. Well, that's definitely, Nick, not praise for the sequel trilogy. You agree?
Yeah, I think that was kind of an underhanded shot at the entire sequel trilogy and everybody involved with it. And that's everybody involved with the decision making in the writing of those movies. The actors, actresses, the crews, all that. It's not their fault. It's not any of the Adam Driver or Daisy Ridley or any of them. It's not their fault. That we don't have any issue with them as people. It's more to do with the higher ups and the decision makers that allowed these decisions to be made and decide to go in this direction. I'm one of the people that wishes they would have used George's outlines and got some really good, passionate Star Wars writers in there that know the Star Wars universe, and kind of built off of that. I don't think George Lucas is perfect. There's a lot of decisions that he's made that I'm not 100% on board with. But I think when people take his material and flesh it out, I think that's when it's great, which is how the original trilogy was built.
Yeah. And we got a comment from John 42, one of our members here. He says, at me and at you, used Doomcock used your language in his video yesterday, so he's watched your 10-point plan also.
Yeah, I think he did watch it because it was either in one of his videos or on Twitter. When he was talking about it, I actually linked to that video and was like, yeah, we actually just covered, this, and this was before he did his video. So I think he probably watched it. I don't know that for sure, but I think there's a good chance he saw it.
If Disney enjoys money, then yes, they'll retcon the sequel trilogy. That's something that Doomcock did say in his video that I 100% agree with. Yeah. He said, basically, he said he doesn't believe in their wits. He doesn't believe in their credibility. He doesn't believe in their common sense, but he believes in greed.
Yeah. And that's what they're all about there. And Robert Meyer Burnett has made some really good points on that in the live streams he's been on with us and in our Star Wars sequel trilogy documentary at the end there, where he talks about, the corporations can't tell a story, only individuals can. And when the corporations are involved, they're involved with everything, with the merchandising, the profits, the revenue coming in, all that sort of stuff. So the corporation is all about that bottom dollar. Yeah. They don't really, and Mark Hamill has even talked about this in his in interviews that he's done, when he said in Hollywood it's not about the quality, it's about if it makes money. And so we're at a crossroads with Star Wars right now on are you going to keep pushing your agenda and losing money with your woke agenda and your SJW political stuff that you're cramming into these movies? Or are you going to go in the direction that the fans want and get all that crap out and give us good written characters and stories with some nostalgia thrown in there that makes sense, not just thrown in there, just to try to make us happy, but to where it makes sense, and have people throwing their money at Disney, because people want to be on board with this stuff. I mean, you go back to before The Force Awakens came out, and people were excited. All Star Wars fans were excited to see these movies. Mm-hmm. And then when we actually saw them, the fans started dropping like flies.
So, Nick, Jeff Eubank says here, the sequel trilogy made its money. Time to forget it. Kill it if you have to. I agree. And one thing about that is a lot of defenders of the sequel trilogy. And here's the thing. We've said this a million times, and we're going to say it again, especially for the people who are new to the channel. If you like the sequel trilogy, we're glad that you like it. We don't like it. We think it's garbage, but we're glad that you like it, and we're not going to hate you because you like it. That's fine.
Yep.
Good for you. It doesn't mean we're enemies. I'm glad it worked out for you. It didn't work out for us.
No.
But what I want to say is, I think that it goes back to the disconnect between the corporation and the fandom.
Yeah.
The corporation didn't think that Luke Skywalker had a big effect. The corporation didn't think that anybody cared anymore. The corporation had no idea who Luke Skywalker was. They had no idea that he was our Superman.
Yeah.
And it goes deeper than just Luke Skywalker. It's all of it. It's all of it. So and now, the people who defend the sequel trilogy, saying, well, it made money. It was the highest grossing, blah, 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 blah. Look at, whatever. If they want to use the analytics and the revenue to support it, that's fine. But Disney now knows how much more money they could have made.
And I want
how much money has actually been lost because of the direction they took and because of Kathleen Kennedy's leadership.
Yeah. To piggyback off that, each movie made less money than the movie previous. So it was a slow decline in the box office revenue for all three movies. Go back and look at what Marvel did. Their box office numbers were climbing as they got to Endgame. And Endgame blew it out of the water. The Star Wars movies had the same path of growth as the movies were going along. People should have been excited for it, and even more people jumped on board for the next movie, and it should have made even more money than the previous, but it didn't. Each movie made less money. Huh?
Like Endgame.
Yeah. Yep. Like Endgame, and there's more to the revenue for Star Wars than just the box office numbers. You got merchandise sales, apparel, toys, video games, all that stuff. None of that stuff was selling. They were losing money hand over fist. I mean, it was a disaster. So yeah, the movies made their money back in the box office numbers, but I guarantee you they were expecting them to make way more than they did. And that's with everything, not just the box office numbers. And I think they recognize that at this point. And, I don't know how much say-so Kathleen Kennedy has at Lucasfilm right now. I think she could just be a figurehead with very little to no real power, possibly. I don't know this. It's just speculation on my part. But I do think that she's going to be out come the end of her contract in the fall of this year. But we'll wait and see what happens.
Well, the sands of time are running out on Mrs. Kennedy no matter what. She's getting older.
Yeah.
And we're going to be going a different direction. And we are calling for the fandom to fully support Jon Favreau.
Yep.
It needs to be a natural sliding into that role in that position for Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni.
And Kevin Feige said he's more of a Star Wars fan than he is a Marvel fan.
Yeah, but I don't want to see Kevin Feige take Star Wars from Jon Favreau like he did Marvel.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, we're with Favreau.
Yeah.
And just like the bridge of the Starship Enterprise, Favreau is the captain, Filoni is the number one. That's what we want to see.
Yep.
And and if Favreau can hold Filoni in check and let Filoni be more of a Lucas tie-in as he is. So anyways, Nick, I'm going to go through the super chat and the memberships real quick, and then we'll have our pop-ins if you want to go ahead and throw that link out there. We got a $10 super chat from Just a Kid from Brooklyn. He says, thank you, fellas, for all that you... Oh, man. He says, thank you, fellas, for all that you guys do for the fandom and for letting Mark Hamill know how much we love Luke. When I was a kid, I used to take my Kenner 12-inch Luke to bed with me every night. Thank you so much for that $10 super chat. That story is very similar to our member Tina Lynn and her Princess Leia 12-inch doll. But Just a Kid from Brooklyn, we really appreciate that $10, man. And we're going to pick out this video for you because we are and you are Echo Base Network. And we thank you for that super chat, sir. We also got a $5 super chat from Valiant Renegade. He says, view count of the sequel trilogy on Disney Plus is lower than my YouTube channel. Bam. Oh, let's go. Zach, go ahead.
Real quick, I put the link out there for the StreamYard. Make sure you got a headset or earbuds. Make sure that there's no sound coming from external speakers because there'll be an echo. You don't have to be on video if you don't want to be, but at least make sure that you got at least a good audio.
Sure.
And also when we bring everybody in, when other people are talking, please have your microphone muted. We would appreciate that.
Right. So Nick, I do want to do this. We got a comment here, Mr. Wren. You two honestly sound so childish. I'm sorry, but dang, Mr. Wren, we invite you to come in and have a pop in, and we could go one-on-one. It's not a threat. You are welcome to come in here and tell us exactly what you want to. We'd be happy to respond.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people that are in Mr. Wren's shoes here are definitely misunderstanding probably a lot of what we're saying and what we're talking about.
Sure.
So
he's supporting the sequel or the sequel trilogy. That's okay. That's totally fine. We want you to know, Mr. Wren, you are welcome here. And again, we're glad that you like it. We don't, but that doesn't mean that we're enemies, brother. It doesn't mean that we're enemies.
And that's perfectly okay for us to not like them and to even hate them. That's
it
just
better
our opinion. That's just
That's
our thought
exactly
on
right.
it.
Yep. All right. So we also got a $5 super chat from Daryl Bell. He says, just turn the sequel trilogy into a forced vision of Luke's. He wakes up determined to prevent it, once again saving Star Wars. I love it, Daryl. That would be a great thought. I would be totally behind that. And then the wonderful Stephanie Janisek, Smuggler's Cantina, who will be joining us in just a moment. She said, what they did to Han is a crime. I left The Force Awakens feeling violated. Could not agree more, Steph. Yep.
Hated it, what they did to Han in Force Awakens.
Yep. So Zach, Daryl, and Stephanie, thank y'all so much. We are Echo Base Network. We're going to have our pop-ins right after this video. All right, Nick, you're in charge.
All right. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. All right, we'll start with Dan the Man. If everybody else could mute your mic while Dan's talking, and then we'll just go down the line. We're going to try to keep this short, around 3-minute time frame, and then we'll move on to the next group of folks. But go ahead, it's your show, Dan. Shoot.
My good brethren, I want to say hey to y'all again. You guys are my people. Love y'all. Okay, and y'all know.
Thanks for becoming a member, man. We appreciate that.
I knew I was going to be sticking around, so might as well join the cause. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But basically, man, future of Star Wars. I think it's going to cover the dark times and the legacy characters and beyond. So you got 3 different times there. You got the Clone Wars, the Rebellion, and the Empire, which I think will learn about Mara Jade, Galen Merrick, and Barriss Offee becoming Inquisitors in that time period. And then in the legacy, the Luke, the Han, and the Leia, you'll have, your Boba Fett, your Luke story. We'll get my Abeloth, the Thanos, all of that in Return of the Jedi. And beyond will be Grogu's story,
Yeah.
So I really want to delve into it, but y'all gave me 3 minutes, so I can't talk like I want to talk.
Well, I mean, you haven't even been going a minute yet, I don't think.
Yeah,
so.
go.
Yeah,
Go.
yeah,
Oh,
shoot.
for real? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Sorry, I went too fast. Okay. But yeah, no. Go ahead, Nick. What were you gonna say? I really want to hear you guys' thoughts on that.
I was just gonna say I would be 100% on board with that. Anything that they can pull in from the EU, the video games, that sort of stuff, because they're kind of cherry picking from it already.
Right.
You know, if they're going into a different timeline, and then that they just bring all these other characters in there, and they might even say, you know, this isn't canon. The sequel trilogy movies are canon. This is just an alternate timeline outside of canon.
Sure.
That'll be my canon. So
Right.
I'll be all for it, you know. So
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be 100% on board for that.
Facts. Facts. And also, I was in Star Wars Theories Live the other day, and I was bringing up Darth Maul's son. Dude, it is entirely possible that if you take George Lucas's ideas for the sequel trilogy and apply it to canon, you can say that Darth Maul and Talon got right before the Phantom Menace when Maul had working parts and had produced a kid. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're not wrong on that point for sure.
Well,
You can have-
again, I think that that you're onto something with wanting pieces of the EU to continue to come in because they're hearing that. They
Yeah.
know there's a large percentage of fans who are unhappy making so much of the EU into Legends.
Right.
And the more they cherry pick and pull in, they need to bring in some of those characters. They need to bring in Amara Jade because the fandom will get behind that. So I'm with you 100%.
I mean, they have no choice but to, man, because if all roads lead to the sequel trilogy, no offense to y'all that like it, but why are we
It's
watching
okay.
it?
Yeah, yeah.
Honest to God, yeah.
People are going to drop right back off of this train. You know, people
Yeah.
are jumping back on it right now,
And they don't want that. They don't want to jump off. We are actually enjoying what we are seeing. And if we find out that Rey's being born, oh no, that train's going to be on fire.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, that's work calling. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I agree with you, Dan. Those are really good thoughts, man. We're going to go ahead and move down to Ray J's world. What's going on, Ray?
Not much. I just thought I'd mention something here. You know, we know that Doomcock's been saying stuff about like maybe them remaking the whole trilogy into a series that's a way we want it. Jeremy at Geeks and Gamers says that's not going to happen, and I kind of agree with him. I actually think that it'll be two separate universes. One will be the Kennedy universe, which would in the fans' realm of Star Trek would be the Kelvin universe, and one would be the original Lucas universe. And that's my opinion on that. In fact, I posted a blog answering a blog post answering Doomcock's message on that. And I said that exact same thing. If anyone wants to look at it, it's at rageisworld.com.
Right.
So, yeah.
I definitely see that as a possibility. I don't think that if I had to guess, Ray J, I would think that they're not going to remake the sequel trilogy. They're just going to continue on and things are going to unfold, just like Favreau said, organically. It's going to be written organically. Things will develop when they need to.
It's better with two separate universes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely it will. Because everybody will be happy.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. Well, thank you, Ray J, for sharing that. That's a brilliant point,
Thanks.
my friend. Rogue Soul, how are you doing, brother?
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
My one and only Wedge Antilles.
Yeah, I had to switch the picture, match the name and everything.
Yeah.
So about the cameo or the original trilogy characters making their way into future Star Wars content, I think if they do anything like that, it'd probably be in a way that, like they did with Luke. They show him being a badass Jedi because obviously in the sequel trilogy they showed him being a crappy little hermit that was all like up in his wowness, and it was terrible. So if they do something like that for any of the other characters, then I think it'd be best if they do it that also shows the character growth that they got in the original trilogy. Like, for example, in the sequel trilogy, they showed Han. He was a deadbeat dad. All that character growth he went through in the original trilogy, they basically just flushed it straight down the toilet. So I think it'd be really cool, like if they have Han Solo in future Star Wars content. Just honestly, it'd probably be best if he was just like, throwing a space football with tiny Kylo Ren or something, or Ben Solo. I mean,
right.
Showing that he is actually a good father, and stuff like that. Maybe have Lando falling in love with a human or not robot.
You mean like a female that he actually like had a preference for in Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, yes. So yeah, that's my take on original characters in future Star Wars content. Really quick, I don't have any social media, so I'm gonna try my best to show you my Dragon Ball tattoo without showing my face, because keep in mind I'm trying to get subs, and showing my face seems counterproductive.
Okay. Let's go. That is dope. I love it.
Wrong way. Yeah.
And I think I saw a Triforce there too.
Yeah. I'm a pretty big Legend of Zelda nerd.
Let me tell you what, man.
Pokeball, Dragon Ball.
When Breath of the Wild 2 comes out, I'm taking off work and I'm all in, son.
Oh boy, you know it, man. Yeah. That is going to be the bees and knees.
Every Christmas, me and my daughters go through Breath of the Wild, all of it.
Yeah, it's such a good game. My original Switch, unfortunately, the battery broke, so I had to go through Breath of the Wild again, and I was not mad about it. Last point, really quick, I just got to self-promote. My Battlefront 2 series is continuing on my channel. Go ahead and if you want, go check it out. I just uploaded Order 66. We went through and ransacked the Jedi Temple today, and that was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
So yeah, I'll try to find my my link and then drop it in the chat so that it can be shared.
Or share it with me in the private chat, and I'll be happy to drop it for you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, man.
You got it, bro. Absolutely. Thanks for popping in.
Of course.
Nick Craig, Bob Dave. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, about the Bob Dave thing. On the end of the credits,
yes,
it's still Bob Dave.
Oh, no. Okay. All right. So full disclosure, sometimes at work, I make our credits and our pre-show, and sometimes I do it here. And sometimes things get lost in translation between the two places. So I will definitely get that fixed. Thank you for letting me know.
The pre-show thing is the same. It says Nick Craig, the Boba Fett's picture. That's all.
Got it.
The credits.
All right. Well, if I somehow forget and it's still like that, stay on me about it. Or you could just remind me in next Sunday's member movie watch party that we're going to have.
I'll be at work.
Okay. Oh, I hate that, but
I work in Walmart, so retail weekends. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, what's going on? What's on your mind, Nick?
But anyway, the couple of quick points. I'm glad you guys mentioned Lord Star. I love his videos.
Yeah.
And the video, and the thing that he said the most about that whole timeline thing, the key point he said is when it happened way back in Rebels when Vader was about to finish off Ahsoka with his lightsaber slash, and Ezra pulled her through the wall between worlds, and that right there, Ezra changed the timeline by saving Ahsoka from Vader, and then Ahsoka lives, and Filoni even went back out in celebration with the t-shirt Ahsoka lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're right. I think she's the key. I think she's the linchpin in the whole two timelines fork.
So you're seeing that moment where Ezra pulls her through, as the rift in time for,
and had Vader finish, had Ezra not done that, Vader would have finished Ahsoka right there, and everything would have changed.
Right. Absolutely. I agree with you, and I'm hoping that that's what happens.
But another thing I was to mention is the Lord Star also went into a video about the whole Boba Fett and Luke Skywalker. He said if they would have had those two meet in Mandalorian, and they said the fans would have been upset because they want to see a fight, but it probably would have never been a fight. Luke's not going to fight Boba Fett because he doesn't have to, and Boba Fett doesn't have a bounty on Luke, so he's not going to do anything.
Right.
So they would just stare at each other. The fans wouldn't have wanted that, so they just said, "Oh, we'll just not have those in the same space."
Yep. That could be interesting.
But
who knows what's going to happen with Boba Fett?
That's a pretty good video Lord Star made about the interaction between Boba Fett and Luke.
Yeah, it was. He does a really good job with his videos, no question about it.
But the last quick point is, well, I think the Boba Fett said go. I hope it goes there because another. I don't know who made the video, but somebody brought up canon. Oh no! In the EU, Boba Fett for a little time lived on Concord Dawn, and he got with a woman who ended up getting killed off, but he had a daughter who rose up the ranks of the bounty hunters guilds. And at the time of Mandalorian, she'd be in her late 20s, and it'd be really cool if Boba Fett's daughter came to Tatooine looking for Daddy, and he got the little duel with his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And then that could be another character that could be in like future Mandovers.
Sure,
is Boba Fett's daughter.
Yep, absolutely. That would be very interesting indeed, sir.
And last thing, I'm agreeing with everybody, especially Rosal. Wedge Antilles has to be in Rangers of the New Republic.
Agreed.
We finally need to get a proper General Wedge Antilles with his 2 Death Stars on his X-Wing.
Yep. I'm with you, man. We got to have Wedge.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's the best pilot in the galaxy. Anakin Skywalker ain't
I almost forgot. I almost forgot. If Stephanie's the goal one of the events, I need to know, because the last time I about fell on my chair laughing with her yelling about the all the hate on the sequels, and I loved it. But
well, she's here. She's gonna rant.
Oh, I know. I'm waiting for it.
We'll get to her. Get ready, guys.
I'm waiting for it. If anybody hasn't seen Stephanie rant about the sequels, these guys are nothing about the sequels.
Yep. Well, thank you, Nick, for popping in and sharing, man. Looking forward to everything that we're going to be doing, man. Bunyan Snipe, how's it going, brother?
Hello. I'm all on board with this 2 timeline thing. This is what they should be doing with Doctor Who as well. They should go back to Paul McGann, do a season with Paul McGann, kill him off a little bit early, and create a new timeline with a new 9th Doctor. You got 5 more Doctors before the regeneration. Anyway, back to Star Wars. If they didn't do that, I always thought it'd be quite an interesting idea to take the best parts, if you can call them that, from episodes 7 and 8, combine them into a pilot for a Luke Skywalker series that ends with Princess Leia sacrificing herself to save Akbar's life. Akbar's still alive. Leia is no longer around. Luke finds out that Leia has died and decides to, stop being a dirty old tramp, and comes back and kicks some ass. Oh, and by the way, and Phasma's still alive, okay? And she's kicking ass. She's not taking any of that stuff, right? Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, and also one more thing. John C. Reilly as Dengar. Please, can we have John C. Reilly play Dengar? Please. Make that happen.
Well, thank you, Bunyan Snipe, for coming in and giving your take, man. And maybe some of those things will happen for you. I hear you, man. So make sure you come back in and do this again sometime. Enjoyed it. Valiant Renegade. First of all, I want to say thank you for the video that you did the other day. That was very kind of you, sir. Means a whole lot. So, what's going on, brother?
Well, no, I just wanted to take an opportunity to thank you, gentlemen. Glad you got to see it, especially for us new guys here on YouTube. This is never going to be something I'm going to do every day like you guys. It's y'all have such dedication to this, and those of us out there in the fandom menace, we appreciate it. So just want to make sure that you get that message. I think you and Nick hit all the high points earlier. And I'm guessing if you saw the video I did about, discussing what does retcon mean to people. Because I did a few of them. I had that dedication video to you guys, but that was another one. And this is exactly the discussion that I wanted to see more of was, I think everybody has a different idea in terms of what retcon really means. Does it mean that Bob Iger and Kathy Kennedy is going to walk out on the stage and do this grand mea culpa and say, we're real sorry that it sucked. Just forget it. We're starting over. No, that's never going to happen. There's shades of gray here. So we may see things that lead us up to a rise of the First Order. And I think we're going to have that impression that everything is leading up to exactly the events that we saw until they're not. And I like you already mentioned, I think we have our first clue. I think the Grogu thing was a slap in the face. How do you suggest, like, as you said, in canon, that Ben Solo was the first student at age 10, but Luke just took Grogu 6 years before that? Something is already screwed up. So we may see, and look, Kylo, Ben Solo, he's already alive at this point, so he's going to come into play. I think it would be stupid for them not to. So there's other things that we may lead into, but I think eventually we're going to see a divergence. I think the Ahsoka issue was a key piece of it between her and Ezra in the World Between Worlds. You look at the logo for the Ahsoka show, it looks an awful lot like the World Between Worlds to me. So I don't think they're throwing these little hints out just to say, gotcha, at the end, and we're not going to do anything. So, but just thank you guys for what you do and keep up the good work, and appreciate the thumbs up. I had a little bit of a private chat with the future ruler of Earth yesterday and this morning. And I had mentioned to him, and I don't know if you guys talked about this during the show, but I'd love to get your thoughts once you guys can do a little bit more digging. This new hire, this new executive VP at Lucasfilm. This is interesting. Somebody who's been in the financial world as long as I have, when you see a hire like this that has the job description basically of the CEO, kind of got to wonder.
Yeah.
There's something going on there. I could be totally wrong. It's pure speculation for me at this point, but she sure sounds like she has the job description of a studio head, overseeing the financial aspects of production and everything else. I'm like, right. Sounds like somebody that's being, that Iger might have slipped in there to groom to be the replacement for Kathy right under her nose. It seems a little weird, but that's me. Anyway, thank you guys.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And that's a good point, and we will do some digging there. I know that our very next pop in here, Stephanie, did report yesterday on that very thing.
Hi,
so,
guys.
Stephanie, what's going
everybody?
on?
Oh,
we're doing
everything's going great. We just got I'm going to say about 10 to 12 inches of snow here. So we've been digging out, but everything's going great. As far as the Star Wars stuff is going, I see good things on the horizon. When I posted that article about Momita Sengupta is her name, the lady that was mentioned just now. She came from Netflix, but first she came from Viacom. And she, you look at her IMDb resume and it's a little sketchy, but she wouldn't have been brought in to do all this unless she had more, I think, experience than is written on IMDb. There's only so much they can put on there. And I have a feeling, it looks to me that they're building up a staff. Like Michelle Rejwan, she came from Bad Robot. And now you've got this woman, and it looks to me like maybe they're setting up Favreau for his, debut as president of Lucasfilm, because I think that's what's going to happen. I really do believe that. And I don't want to be on too long because I know there's a time limit. I do want to say about the retcons there's more than just Luke taking Grogu, which changes that part of Claudia Gray's magnificent trash fire called Bloodline. You want to see someone rant? I will rant about that woman. Okay, I'm not gonna. Right here, she's a terrible person. She's just, you go to her tweets and it's like, you have a problem with men and you need to deal with it with the doctor, not with the rest of the world. Okay, please go do that. Don't bring us into it.
100% agree.
She's just, oh God. But Grogu changes that. What else changes these things is not only does the New Republic have Moff Gideon, and no, by the way, when he realizes it's Luke, I think he's the only one there that recognized him. Maybe Cara Dune did. Because if they do it the way I think they're going to do it, I think maybe Cara Dune actually fought with Han. She was one of Han's people. That would actually make sense then. That would actually really make sense. And then you could actually bring him in to the Rangers of the New Republic. So, Gideon tries to kill himself. Cara Dune hits him. He goes down. They've got the doctor. They've got all their research. They know where the lab is. And if there are any other labs, the doctor's going to sing like a bird because he's a wimp. There's a retcon. There's like a change right there. Mm-hmm. And then Grogu changes everything. It's not just Ahsoka, but, and I have to agree with Anna, that Star Wars girl, and others. I think Ezra pulling Ahsoka out of there changes everything. I really, really do. And I think it was started back then. But as far as I think people don't want to see what's in front of them sometimes. And I am I have a minor. I'm almost a double major in history and literature. And you've really, when you're reading something and you're looking at something that is very intense, there's a lot of details to it. You're going to miss a lot of what it's about. And I think what's going on here is a lot of people are missing, either because of confirmation bias or whatever, missing what's there in front of them. All right. But I think that there's obvious retcons coming, and there's already been really big ones. And if they do if they just kind of do a thing where there's dual timelines, I don't mind. But I gotta tell you guys something. After watching all the trolling, and I've had trolls show up on my live streams and videos, I've seen them show up on Clownfish. You guys had one too. In other places, I think they know it's coming. I think they're scared. I think a lot of these people are part of that small but loud, voracious cabal at Lucasfilm. I really do. But anyway, I don't want to rant about the sequel trilogy because there isn't enough time. All I know is that I still feel violated after TFA.
Yeah.
I just, God,
I hear you.
Garbage fire.
Could I add one quick thing to what Steph said, or ask her a question?
Go ahead.
Sure, sure.
You mentioned about, it seems like Lucasfilm is building a team. I think I agree with you.
Yeah.
You mentioned, maybe setting up Favreau to be president of Lucasfilm. I'm a little skeptical on that, only because, the society we live in nowadays, the politics plays into everything. And it almost feels like this new hire, Miss Sangupta, might be the one to take over as studio head. And almost I would rather prefer to have Jon Favreau be relegated to the position of creative director. He's the head of Lucasfilm when it comes to creative, because I want him focused on the creativity. Yeah. It almost seems like Miss Sangupta, when they specifically mentioned her history and her knowledge of basically production and finance, the management side, the business side of a studio. Yeah. That's somebody that you want to have as a CEO.
Yeah.
But you want, and leave John and Dave and those guys. They are where she says, we're making more Star Wars. You guys are the creative drivers of it. Go make money. Because at the end of the day, Disney's not an entertainment company. No, they're a company like any other business. They're a money-making company. They're in the money-making business.
Here's the deal with people, especially some people in the Phantom Menace, and I'm going to say it, don't understand, is that Chapek and Iger are responsible to the investors. And the investors, I can't imagine how angry they are with the fact that they didn't, you can talk about gross box office versus net box office, and they always mention gross box office. That's not what the studio brings home. It is net box office. And I have seen different numbers, but I don't think all 5 of those movies, and remember, Solo lost a tremendous amount of money. It wasn't 80 million. I've seen the number at $250 million. Okay, if you look at the costs of that movie and the reshoots, and oh God, it's just, I mean, that movie alone would have been suicide inducing for anybody with the brain working on it. I mean,
Rise of Skywalker too.
Yeah, and I don't think those movies. I've seen numbers. Somebody actually said they only earned about $1 billion. I think about $2 billion, because The Force Awakens, even The Force Awakens, when you look at how much it costs to make it, how much it costs to market it, what the theaters took, here it's 35%, overseas it's between 40 and 60. It only made about $750 million. That's not a lot of money when you think about the numbers that they need to justify buying Lucasfilm. And of course, Rogue One, probably 200 million, because it only made about $1 billion. And that was a good movie. I mean, I enjoyed that. TLJ, I remember walking out of it going, I can't believe what I just saw. What in the hell was that? And then The Rise of Skywalker, Ichibaka sent me a link, and I watched. I rolled through about half of it and watched pertinent parts. I was like, I can't. And I could have gotten tickets for that anytime I wanted. That, those movies didn't make any money. I mean, and if they did, it wasn't enough to justify spending the money they made on making them.
Yeah. Steph, I got a quick question, because I've seen this argument out there on the Solo thing, is that once the worldwide numbers came in, they actually didn't lose money. I haven't looked into it, but is there any truth to that, or?
It's funny. There are guys out there, PB Pop Culture, and a couple others that have actually worked in the movie business. And I think actually, I don't know if you're familiar with Cameron Pasha. He's a friend of mine. He would probably be able to tell you. I've never heard that. All I've known is that it lost. I mean, that was the moment when they realized just how bad the movie was doing, where I think Iger said Cappy has to go. And that was him throwing her under the bus, because ultimately he allowed it to happen. Okay. My husband's a 30-year Marine Corps officer. He commanded thousands of men. If something under his command went wrong, he was responsible for it, and he had to take care of it. Okay. Yeah. When I look at what's going on with Iger and Kennedy, so he's responsible for that. He let her do all this. And, he should, first off, all right, I'm going to go on a rant. Hiring Lord and Miller to direct a movie which is basically supposed to be kind of a serious space western was the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I mean, the guys that did the Lego movie, really?
Yeah.
And then, the movie's about 80% in. And by the way, she never watched the dailies. And when she finally did, she was like, what in the hell am I watching? What the hell? Anyway, then they get poor Ron Howard to come in and fix it. And it's like, guys, just stop filming and just say, call it a day, pay everybody off and say, we're sorry, this isn't going to work. Yeah. I can't, first off, Alden Ehrenreich, and I know the story about what really happened back with how he got hired. He was the first guy they auditioned. They were actually on their way they actually had a deal ready for Anthony Ingruber to do it, which would have been, he would have actually got me to see the movie. I mean, I like him. A really cool guy, and he looks the part. He really does. Mm-hmm. And that's part of the thing. And Spielberg stepped in and said, my accountant's son, who's a friend of my daughter's, wants this role. Kennedy said, okay, Stephen, he gets the role. So it's like, the moment I saw him, I'm like, oh God, why? He's a bad cosplayer. And then it just got worse. And then the story came out. And then Pandolando. And then you find out Larry Kasdan didn't really want to make the movie anyway. And his son who wrote it didn't want to write it. And it's like, why are you here then? Why did you volunteer for this? There are plenty of people out there that would love to have that chance who've done a better job.
Yeah.
You know?
And there was so much fallout from The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
That movie, Solo, would have had to have been incredibly great.
Yeah.
And it's not.
No,
it's not.
yeah,
and The Last Jedi hurt it
yeah.
even more.
Yeah. Nobody really wanted a Harrison Fordless Solo movie.
No, we don't. I mean, I was like, I remember Super Bowl Sunday when they did the trailer, and I went live to watch it, and I think it was live. I can't remember. I have to go back and look. I was laughing so hard. First off, I was drinking wine, so I was like, and I was laughing so hard I couldn't stop laughing. I couldn't stop laughing. I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. I feel bad for Aaron Reich. He was trying to put boots on that were too big for him.
It's not his fault. It's not the fault of anybody
not.
else that was in the movie.
No, it's not, and it's not Ron Howard's fault either.
No.
He was trying to fix the unfixable.
Yeah, he got put into a really bad situation with that movie.
Yep, and they all did it. They all did it because they wanted to help Kathy.
Yep.
And now, from what I've heard, Spielberg has abandoned her too.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing.
You know, and it's like, you know what? You screwed George over. You screwed up this was a no-brainer, and you screwed it up.
Yeah.
All right, I'll leave after I say this. You cannot buy an IP or studio like Lucasfilm and be unfamiliar. You can't lead it and be unfamiliar with what they do.
100%.
They have very specific IPs, and if you don't know anything about Star Wars, and she obviously didn't, Iger didn't, you're gonna crash and burn. And so I look at the Sengupta hire as being, that could be right. She could actually be being groomed to take over Lucasfilm. And I'd like to know the story about what made her stand out, because she's definitely, I don't get Kennedy's little fingers all over that at all. I don't see that at all. I see this woman at least has experience in what needs to be done. Whereas everybody she hired was just an SJW,
Yeah.
You need a CEO who can delegate authority appropriately to get the job done. Somebody who's smart enough at the top to know how to do it.
And get the right people in there that know this IP, know this universe, know the lore.
And the heart of the fans.
And Solo grossed $392 million on reportedly a budget with all the reshoots of $300 million. So they lost their butts on that one.
Yeah. I mean, 250
That's
million.
before a dime in advertising.
Yeah. 250 million might even be low for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't.
And how much of that went to the theaters?
Oh God.
Of the 392 grosses, you can take about half of it stays with the theaters.
Yeah. So I remember crunching the numbers one night and went, they run Lucasfilm like they run the U.S. government. I mean, my God, what are they doing? I mean, but that was just. I mean, you can't. I actually started writing a Han Solo origin story that mixes up the EU with some stuff of my own. I do fan fiction, and if you guys ever want to read it, I'll get it to you.
You should submit one to our next writing contest. We had one writing contest this last year, and the winner won $500.
$1,200 in gifts.
I'll do it because you guys, I think you guys get a kick out of it. I grew up watching Westerns, so that character was familiar to me, and it was you need a deft hand to write them. And if you don't know anything about Westerns, and you don't know anything about Star Wars, and you don't know anything about that underworld or how he got there, you're gonna screw it up, and they screwed it up royally. I mean, oh God. Anyway.
Well, guys,
all right, I gotta go.
Yeah. Thank y'all for
Thanks
coming
for having
in.
me on.
Thank you, guys.
All right,
Everybody in
bye-bye.
the chat, go subscribe to these awesome content creators. Stephanie and Rogue Soul was in here, and Vigilant.
Renegade.
Yep.
And
So go and do that. Absolutely. Nick, we got a couple of super chats to do. Then we got some more people that we're going to pop in.
Right.
Skywall Roberto Rose says, united in one voice, we can get what we want. And that's what it is all about, Ro. We are definitely trying to bring the fans together and let's be heard. They got to know where we stand. We can't just tell them what we hate. We got to tell them what we love. We got to do both. And so thank you for that $2 super chat. And then Dan the Man says, $5 super chat. Let's look at the facts. Marvel and DC have multiverses planned, bringing back Tobey Maguire and Michael Keaton, yet Star Wars can't use the WBW to do the same, World Between Worlds. Yeah, I definitely think that they can. So thank 100%. You for that. Yep, thank you for that, Dan the Man. So Skywall, Roberto Rowe, and Dan the Man, thank y'all so much for your awesome super chat, keeping the fires burning here at Echo Base Network. You are Echo Base Network, and this is for you guys. We are back with another awesome panel.
Yeah. I just wanted to welcome Zach and Tim Myers and
what's up,
FR Jacob.
That's Fire Jacob, son.
Oh, is that? Oh yeah, yep, sure is. But I gotta bounce out because I got some work stuff I have to take care of. But I'm gonna stay in the StreamYard, and if I get a break and Coach is still going, I'll jump back in here.
Well, good old Coach will take care of things like I normally do.
All right, sweet.
See you, bud. All right, Zach, we're going to start with you. What is on your mind, sir?
What's up? I just joined today. I've been watching you guys for a while, so I've been.
Well, thank you.
Figured might as well make it official.
Very glad to have you, Zach.
I've been thinking about, as soon as I saw Luke, Ahsoka and Luke, that meeting. I want to see that a lot. And, even more now, I guess, than before, Rex could be there as well. And that's kind of cool to think about. Also, Clone Wars flashbacks, I think we have the potential to see a lot of those with you and Hayden and whoever else is in there as well. I think that'd be cool.
So let me ask you, Zach, did you think that when Ahsoka, in the very first episode she was in, I believe it was chapter 14, at the very end of the episode when she was walking off back into the woods away from Mando, were you expecting an Anakin Force Ghost? Because I was looking behind her all through the woods.
I searched the entire scene 12 times. Yeah, I was looking for that.
Yeah, and so I made a thumbnail and I photoshopped an Anakin ghost in the background.
Awesome. That's awesome.
It's the only thing that could have made that episode better.
Yeah, 100% agree. Also, since Rogue Soul showed his tattoo, I'm gonna show my tattoo.
Go right ahead.
Gotta get it out. It's kind of big. I'm trying to get
Vader.
Yeah. Took forever, but
that's awesome, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Well, thank you guys. Yeah.
You. Zach, our pleasure, and welcome to the family, brother.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Absolutely, anytime. Tim, what's going on with you, my friend?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing great.
I caught the kind of second half of your show and stuff. What you're saying. So is this for a series or movies, or as far as the multiverse thing that they're going to do?
It'll be both. It'll be Star Wars canon, that there are now two different realities that they can make something from, and proponents of there's a war, there's a division at Lucasfilm. One side is the Favroni, we call it that. It's the John Favreau, Dave Filoni side, and then the Kathleen Kennedy side. And obviously, one of those has a very bright future, and one does not, especially with the fandom. That's our position.
Oh yeah. Well, I think this multiverse thing is incredible because you can dive into characters you never really got to develop. I'm going to represent my boy Kylo Ren here, because like the first 15 minutes of The Force Awakens, when they introduced Kylo Ren, I thought it was amazing because we never saw anyone like Frieza and freeze like a blast, and he was like Darth Vader 2.0 in the way they presented him at the start. Well, what happened to him later on in the movie didn't really like come to that. He was like a emo Darth Vader, right? And get mad all the time and,
right.
Just a loose cannon. But anyways, I think if they do, they're going that way. I think that's awesome. They're going to play, more respect to like the OG characters. Another thing is, you have someone that on earlier, the lady was talking about like the box office stuff, and it is all a business, and Robert Meyer Burnett and other people talk about like the box office, like let's bring up like Captain Marvel. That movie cost like $275 million to make and had like a $200 million marketing budget or more. And it made like 1.2 million. And I was thinking, well, did it really make that much money? $1 billion today is not like $1 billion back in the day. What we don't consider is what they don't consider. Like they want to bring up analytics. The new gen Star Wars movies made the most money. What about inflation? Movie tickets are expensive, 10 or now we have 3D costs like $15. And so you got to consider those things. And, when you take out 1/3 of the box office and you look at Robert Downey Jr. got $75 million because his back end deal on the first Avengers movie, it wasn't cheap bringing back Harrison Ford. She made more than Daisy Ridley in the first movie. Daisy Ridley hadn't been anything, of course, but Harrison Ford, he's like iconic. He's built his way up. So that's what things you got to consider. It's like if you're going to run a business, what's the why are you dividing the fans? And I'm going to bring up a couple quotes, like from The Dark Knight. As far as the virtue signaling stuff. Yeah, I mean there can be a good cause in that, but when you do it so bad or pander your like fan base and call them all these names, even though you don't even know them. And you see yourself like you're the good guy it was The Dark Knight where he says you're the good guy so long you become the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that resonates with today's society and what's going on with cancel culture. They eat their own. You saw it with Rosario Dawson. You've seen it with countless other people. Not Kevin Feige, but one of the Guardians of the Galaxy director. He got canceled for a bit. Then they brought him back because they was like, that was from like 10 years ago. People change, and that's, it was ridiculous. And then I also want to bring up the quote, like they're listening to us when Luke said the line and Dan Mann said, he was like, talent without training is nothing. And that's very true in like with anything. And I mean, Michael Jordan, why he's so compelling, is because he got cut from the basketball team and he was clutch and he went through all these obstacles in his life and even came back, retired, with all, his dad died, went to play baseball, and he comes back and gets the 3 rings again. And so it's very compelling. And then like, if you look at Luke's relationship with Yoda, and Yoda's like this kind of like godlike figure in a way, he speaks like in his parables, or he's like, Jedi you'll become, or however you say it. But
Kylo Ren does Yoda.
But anyways, it's like if Luke didn't, Yoda was his master, taking criticism, learning the way, Luke would never got any better and coming into his own person. Why Luke's so compelling because he's not born with all these gifts. He didn't even know he was a Jedi till later on in his life. He always thought he was probably going to just be a farm boy, and then he discovers all these new things and struggles with himself. You see him falling constantly, gets his hand cut off, comes back, and when he brings back that, it's symbolic when he brings back like that blue, the green lightsaber, and he's all decked out with the black clothing, almost like how Anakin was. But those were just some of the things I want to touch on to make it brief. But.
Well, Tim, those are great thoughts, man, and we appreciate it. That's you're building a good argument for the reality that we have. So I appreciate you doing that, my friend. Keep popping in and doing what you do.
Thank you.
All right, Friar Jacob, how are you, sir?
I'm doing really well. Thank you.
Good.
Pleasure to be here.
Our pleasure, sir.
First of all, I just want to say what a great opportunity for Star Wars fans. Like, come on and just kind of share their thoughts and their love of Star Wars without like killing each other.
Absolutely.
So I just appreciate this privilege and this service that you offer to us fans. Been a long time Star Wars fan. I think I shot you an email a couple weeks ago. I haven't answered back yet, but I wouldn't be a priest if it wasn't for Star Wars. I don't think it's been a huge part of my childhood. And when I watched the sequel trilogy, the first thing that I felt was missing was something that I loved from the original trilogy, is that clear line between good and evil. And it really felt like the good side had something to lose and the bad side had a goal and everything to gain. And in the sequel trilogy, it didn't. I was like, okay, so what's the First Order after? Like,
I don't know.
what's the point?
Yeah.
Why are they the bad guys? Like, okay, they're dressed like the Empire, but like, what's their goal? And then the Resistance is like, okay, well, they're like the rebels, so we already know they're gonna win. It's like they blow up Starkiller Base in the first movie. It's like, oh, we've blown up things before, we'll just do it again. And so it just didn't seem like there was anything at stake. Killing Han Solo, I think, was the one part where they tried to make us feel like, oh my gosh, the bad guys are really bad. I was like, well, you don't have to kill Han Solo. You could freeze him in carbonite, and we're worried about him. Because that worked in Empire Strikes Back. And I think kind of touching on what Tim just shared, it's really kind of a problem with our culture is the line between good and evil is so blurry now, and nobody wants to talk about right and wrong, good and bad, what's true and what isn't. But we have things like virtue signaling, where as long as I appear to be a good person, I don't actually have to be. And so instead of actually fighting evil or standing up to it, we laugh at it. And all the villains, especially after The Force Awakens, so you see it in The Last Jedi, you see it in The Rise of Skywalker, the bad guys are just laughed at. Hux is a moron. He's completely incompetent. But in the first film, I was actually kind of scared of him. He was kind of like a young Hitler. I mean, that speech he gave before they fired Starkiller Base was chilling.
Mm-hmm.
And even Kylo Ren, I was kind of like, okay, this guy is scary. He's unstable. He's vicious. He's ruthless. Like, who's going to stop him? But then by the time we see him in the next two films, he's just like, he's a big crybaby with a lightsaber. And so as long as you stay like 8 feet back, you're okay. And like starting The Last Jedi off with a mama's joke to Hux, like, I'm not scared of these guys.
Yeah.
So there's no investment. But I think if the movies can touch back into those legends and those typologies and that ancient struggle between good and evil, we can really have Star Wars with some substance.
That's the thing, Friar Jacob, about the original trilogy that you articulated so well. The lines between good and evil are clearly defined. Obi-Wan Kenobi is 100% good. There is absolutely no question about it. And that's actually something that that it raises my antenna with The Mandalorian. You just said it. There's a bigger problem than The Mandalorian. It's the world that we live in today. Mm-hmm. Good and evil is real. And when I watch The Mandalorian, when I see Chapter 15, they humanized the stormtroopers. Mm-hmm. They made them appear to have families and children, and they're just regular old people going to work. And then conversely, the very few times that you saw the new Resistance pilots, which was Dave Filoni and the Japanese American gentleman, mm-hmm. They were very shrewd, and we're not going to help you. We killed the spiders, but you're on your own. You got to get out of this thing yourself. And they literally abandoned Mando and crew, Lizard Lady and all that in the snow place. And that the Alliance never would have done that. The good guys never would have done that. So that's very that's articulated very well from you, and that's something that I did not like in The Mandalorian, and I hope that we kind of get back to the storytelling as it used to be, with good versus evil being clearly defined. I'm
I
with you.
think that's what makes part of what makes Star Wars so lovable by its fans is it touches on something very deep inside, and it can motivate us to, like Luke Skywalker isn't the hero just because he's got the magic sword and defeats all the bad guys. Like, there's something good in him, and it makes us kind of want to reach toward that kind of goodness, to the point where he can look at Darth Vader and is like, there is good in you, and that's worth me fighting for.
Yeah.
As opposed to, like, you're the bad guy, I must destroy you. Whereas the Emperor, like, there's nothing redeemable about you, sir. And you need to be ended. I'll never join you. I'm a Jedi like my father before me. And so, like, there's even that tug of war within Luke. And I think that's why Revenge of the Sith is so good, is it shows, like, how evil has the potential to corrupt. If you don't have the strength to stand up against it and you have that interior integrity, like Obi-Wan Kenobi. But these other movies, it's just like, we just want to blow things up and joke around. It's like, well, I could just watch the news if I want that.
Absolutely. It's supposed to be an escape from all that, right?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming in and sharing that, man. Those are really good points. And please send us the email again. I don't know if it went to our spam.
Oh, no. You did reply. I just haven't replied back.
Okay. All right, good. It was Nick.
Yeah, no worries.
But I'll have to check that out too. So good deal.
I was sitting here listening while I was doing some work stuff, and I wanted to chime in on something that he was hitting points on. I heard EVS in one of his videos the other day make a really good point on characters and the fact that these characters don't go through any tribulation. Sort of like what Tim was saying earlier about Michael Jordan. All the obstacles and the heartache and everything that he went through. The one finals game where he had the flu and he was still, going through that adversity. A lot of the characters that we're getting in Disney Star Wars aren't going through any suffering or any tribulation. They're just all powerful and everything seems to go their way. And that aspect of storytelling, I hope they get back to. And give these characters some. I mean, Empire, that's the thing that made Empire so great. By the end of that movie, everybody just had their asses handed to them pretty much, and that's how it ended. So yeah, I would definitely like to see them kind of get back to more of that struggle with the people that's clearly defined as the good guys.
Absolutely.
Our heroes.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for popping in, Nick, and sharing that. That was a joke.
Yeah.
Bad joke, I guess. All right. Mark, the Infinitely Tired, you have no excuse, sir, to not be here
Mark.
at 2:30 in the afternoon because you're not playing board game. Well, I guess there is this thing called work, but...
Well, no, actually, work is down right now. We're having a few issues at work, so I am probably off the rest of the week. So.
Oh, my goodness. So you get to live stream.
Yeah, I've been popping in and out of different ones and harassing people in Discord too.
No. You get to live stream.
No.
Yes.
That was an impromptu live stream. That
was great.
That was not anything special.
That was 90 seconds of pure ecstasy.
Yeah, Mark actually popped up live. But what I wanted to touch on something that the Friar said was to add to is the mysticism has been lost in the new trilogy. There is absolutely no mysticism at all with the Force. It doesn't touch anything. It doesn't have a consequence like was brought up earlier. Nothing seems to have a consequence. The only person that might have been set up to fail was Finn. And Finn to me was the only interesting character out of all the new characters introduced.
Yeah.
I mean, his character failed completely and they made a joke, but they ended up making a joke out of him, a complete joke out of him. And his character should have definitely been built upon. It should have been him with the Force instead of Rey.
And a lot of people thought that in the very beginning, especially with the promos and the teaser and how it showed Finn with the lightsaber. Nobody knew what to expect going into episode 7.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you. It definitely could have maybe been better if had it been Finn. You know, I don't know, because Finn at least went through some trials.
Yeah,
You know,
he did.
being evil or
Mhm.
on the side of evil. So yeah, I can see that. Sure can, bud.
And another bad thing was that the Empire actually, or the First Order, whatever you want to call that crap, they didn't have a strong leader. Snoke was not a strong leader, and neither was General Hux, and neither was Kylo Ren. They were all disjointed characters that should have actually played parts against each other, or at least work towards a common goal, then split apart. Is another thing. But what I really want to touch about, I'm sorry, the world between worlds. I just came up with a harebrained idea a few minutes ago, and I put it in chat. But what if Ahsoka decides to go? What if she finds her way back there and pulls Anakin out before the moment hit, before he turned, or as he's turning, and pulls him into the modern era of Star Wars? What would happen there?
You'd have a lot of angry people.
I mean, it could be a possibility.
Yeah,
I mean,
it absolutely
could be a very distinct possibility.
because that the world between worlds goes beyond time and space.
Hmm. I mean,
So
you
they could
had
go wherever they want to.
yeah, you practically had Palpatine come out of the world between worlds by himself without any help. Who's to say that she feels bad? She doesn't feel right and decides she wants to help Anakin. And at the time he is falling, she pulls him out, and we have a full blown Vader as a youth, not in armor.
So that would be if they did that, then that would be alternative universe number 3.
Yep. And I
One
can.
that goes beyond okay, you're right. If for the people who were calling for Disney to remake the original trilogy, that is how you do it.
Yep.
But
And
first, Mark, first,
yeah, I'm listening.
they have to do that with the sequel trilogy first. If they can pull that off, then and only then can you even touch the original trilogy. Because if you touch it right now, if you touch it first, if you change that, you're going to have, I mean, the most bearish movement for Star Wars ever. People are going to turn their backs and walk away.
Yep. But I mean, I don't know. It would ruin everything that Luke fought for. I mean, would Luke still be a Jedi? Would it be a point for him to even become a Jedi? And what would happen after that point?
Right.
Would Padme die? Would Leia's will be broken and Luke's will be broken?
Exactly.
I
That would
mean,
definitely be a crazy timeline to explore.
yeah,
Anything could happen. It'd be nuts.
gotta love
The Jedi
paradoxes.
Order would never fall. I mean, they could go back and redo Order 66.
Yeah. And who's
You
to
know?
say that Palpatine wouldn't have made it through there without Anakin there to protect the Emperor? What would Palpatine have fallen at that point when Mace Windu attacked him and brought him to or would he have been brought to justice?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, it's just the WandaVision has me thinking of all kinds of what ifs right now. So, after watching all that, I hate to cross reference things, but there are so many what ifs that Filoni and Favreau could do with with these series that's not even funny.
I haven't even watched WandaVision yet. I'm going to.
You
but
need to, and then you need to watch the reviews on Sunday when we do the reviews on Sunday, Coach.
all of my free time I'm spending on Star Trek the original series. I can't get enough. I just can't.
You're burying yourself. You finally buried yourself in
I
TOS.
just can't. Like all my free time, that's where I'm at, and it'll be done in probably 2 weeks.
Oh,
I'll have them all then. Then I'll go to WandaVision.
Well, I'm going to the Expanse after WandaVision's over with. So.
That's on my list too.
It's that and The Boys. I've been rode hard for about a year and a half now to watch The Boys by the gaming group. So I've got to watch it. I think it'll be before the Expanse though.
There's just not enough time, man. There's just not enough time.
Well, this week has been. I've been painting miniatures, so. But I just wanted to pop on and say hey too. I don't get all. It's hard for me on Saturdays to pop in and say hey to you guys and all that, and just keep on keeping on. You guys are doing great.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me on.
All right. Yeah, man. We'll holler at you.
Bye.
All right, guys. So that's gonna do it for us in this stream. We want to say a couple things real quick before we let you guys go. Thank you so much for being here with us. This has been an incredible stream. Thank you so much for all of the super chats, the 13 new members that we picked up from this stream. And guys, we just hit 17,000 subscribers in this stream. So we appreciate it. We are, and you are, Echo Base Network. It means a lot to us. I do have something that I want to mention here real quick, because Ricardo Gill, you, sir, are persistent. I have seen this quite a few times during the chat. I haven't been able to get to it, but I'm getting to it right now. Ricardo Gill says, Echo Base Network, did you see the High Republic made a story where the colonizers are the heroes and the natives the villains? Something wrong isn't right with their thinking. And Ricardo, I did not know that. That is very interesting, because normally the colonizers are not considered the good guys. They're the people who are showing up and destroying the natives, and that's not a good thing. Imperialism cannot be justified. So, sir, thank you for that comment. We greatly appreciate that, and you're persistent, sir. Guys, we're going to end the stream with playing our fan-made trailer. We always like to leave you guys with something that we put together for you, and this one was truly for you, our Luke Skywalker series that we're calling for, that I think the majority of you guys are calling for. So we're going to play that, and guys, we will be back. Normal content coming out probably tomorrow and the next day, and we will see you guys at our normal or regularly scheduled live streams Saturday nights at 7:00 p.m. Central Time. Do not forget, we are, and you are, Echo Base Network. I am the coach for Nick. We will see you guys later. We're out.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.